And a welcome here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora. Appreciate your patience here this morning. Getting ready and set to go for you where sports meets life. We are rounding out this week of Wake Up Call with so many things happening on today's broadcast. You need to lock in and be here from start to finish. Inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, Great Lakes Honda City, great place to start when it comes to finding your next ride, and great place to conclude as well. I went to Great Lakes Honda City, the former Honda City of Liverpool, many years ago, and I'm still there today. So got a vehicle a long time ago and still getting vehicles from Great Lakes Honda City. Going to a dealership can be stressful, can be difficult, can be hard, can be confusing. You wonder if they're telling you the truth. But when I go to Great Lakes Honda City, I keep going back. Thanks to people like Elijah and Malik and Mark and so many people. Thank you so much for the work that you've done over the years at Great Lakes Honda City. Head there today. Let them know the DT sent you to 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday for sales and service. And, of course, you can always go online to greatlakeshondacity.com. Inside of MonPawsPopcorn.com is what's popping, giving you a list of topics for the day. So many things are going to be happening today. The trio of signature segments that you know every single Friday are coming to you this morning, but they're coming to you a little bit earlier so that we can get everything set and ready to go. The annoying moment of the week is going to start things off, as always, proudly presented by Carvel DeWitt. Then we'll jump right into lead, learn, evolve, ad-lib, and deliver, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero. The top dog of the week will be announced, proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. And then I will have specials with both of the coaches that will be going up against one another on opposite sidelines in the Dome this weekend on Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m. We will see the Section 3 Class AA Championship, and we've been used to seeing CBA versus CNS. This year, it's CBA versus Liverpool. And we will see Casey Brown here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, the head coach of the CBA Brothers football program here in Central New York. And then we will hear and see Joe Sindoni here on the broadcast from Liverpool with the Liverpool Legends football program. The former Warriors, I don't know if I'm supposed to call them the Warriors or the Legends or Liverpool or what right now, because there's some weird things that our government in New York focuses on instead of poverty and crime, but whatever. So Liverpool High School, we'll be talking with Joe Sindoni, and we'll round the show out at 10:20 a.m. Eastern Time when I'm joined by Jerome Smith, Syracuse Orange running back, alum, as well as a 1,000-yard rusher in Syracuse history, and the current running backs coach of the Bucknell Bison football program collegiately. So a lot of great stuff coming up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com, Facebook.com, both /Wake Up Call DT, and on wakeupcalldt.podbean.com. So make sure that you check it out, and appreciate you all for your love and support when we are live, as well as going to those links to go back and watch the show too. So with that being said this morning, let's jump right into the annoying moment of the week.
Dan Tortora proudly brings you...
Is that for real? Are you kidding me?
The annoying moment of the week.
I really, honestly, I don't know how to respond to this.
Presented by Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street. It's what happy tastes like.
Do you have to be that crazy? I guess so.
The annoying moment of the week, proudly presented by the wonderful team at Carvel DeWitt. Let's hop right into where is my annoying moment of the week? Where is it going to take me? Man, I would have to tell you it's manners. It's manners. How about this? Bring manners back. That's what I'm talking about here. Because we need them in this country again. Manners. Manners. What are they? Do it. Manners matter. How about that? Maybe I'll just make a t-shirt. Open the door for people. Say hello. When you work at a place and somebody walks in, ask them if they need anything. Don't follow them acting like you think they're going to steal something. Like, ask them if they need anything. How's their day going? Maybe just pay attention a little bit to the people that are in your store. Maybe just care that they're spending money. You may not be the owner of the store, but you work there. And while you work there, just try to just care a little bit. Give a little bit. You know, because a lot of people are hypocrites. They don't want to help you when they're working, but they want to be helped when you're working. They don't want to hold the door for you, but they'll get mad if you don't hold the door for them. They don't want to take the time to smile and be kind or maybe say a nice thing or do a nice gesture, but we always want people to do nice gestures for us. So all I ask in this beautiful world that you and I share is that you give and you don't just take. Because when you simply take, the world runs out of things. Because you're take, but you're not replenishing. So if you want someone to do a good deed for you, why don't you do a good deed for somebody else? You pay it forward. That's all you have to do. Hold a door open. Smile. Say hello. Ask if somebody needs any help. Say no, you go ahead. When traffic is crazy, let one person in. You don't have to let everybody in, but go ahead and let that one person in. Or when someone's turning in a parking lot, don't speed up to almost hit them. Because yes, you have the right of way, but that person started, and you have the right of way, but you were back there. So they went, and you sped up. Like, what is the point of speeding up to be like, I'm going to hit you? You know, and I'm a culprit of this too. I feel like somebody goes too late, and so I'll speed up to like let them know. And I'm like, somebody did that to me yesterday, and I didn't like it. So now I know not to do it, right? Because we're supposed to learn, and we're supposed to grow, and we're supposed to work together. So that's my annoying moment of the week, is stop asking for what you don't give. Okay? Stop. People in dating, I want this, and that. You want to know why I don't enjoy dating? Because it's like getting interrogated by the FBI. And, well, Dan, do you know what that feels like? No, but I've watched it on television, and I feel like I know. So, but, it's like being interrogated by the FBI. Have you been married? And here's the insane question. If you tell somebody you've been married before, and my marriage wasn't a good one, and I hope she's happy, and I hope she's having a great life, we were not compatible. We weren't right for each other. I shouldn't even say we weren't compatible. There wasn't good stuff there. And so somebody says, hey, have you been married? And I'm an honest person. I say, yes, I was. And then it's like, well, how long ago? Because that matters. And you can feel the judgment. You can hear the judgment. How long ago? And then they have to decide if that's enough time. Well, then who asked for the divorce? Because that's important too. Because if she asked for it, well, then maybe that means you still... It's like this weird... It's like, let me be honest with you. I did not want to be married to somebody that was not good for me anymore. It wasn't healthy. Her family wasn't healthy. It was not a good situation. I needed to get out of it, and she gave me more than ample reason to get out. Simple as that. Okay? Was I perfect? No. Was she perfect? No. Did I learn? Yes. Am I still learning to this day? Yeah. And hopefully she is too. And I hope she's happy, and I hope she hopes I'm happy. But it wasn't good. That's all you need to know. Stop interrogating people. People treat people not how they want to be treated. It's like if you learned nothing from Jesus Christ himself, he had many things that he taught. But there was like this one thing that was like, hey, just treat other people the way you want to be treated. Like that'll be a good place for you to start as mankind. Just treat people the way you want to be treated. It's not a hard concept. Like, do you want to get beaten? Well, then don't beat people. Do you want to get cheated on? Well, then don't cheat on people. Do you want someone to cut you off? Well, then don't cut off people. Do you want someone to be texting on their phone when they're by you and your family on the road? Well, then don't text on your phone when you're by other families on the road. Like, it's common sense. But what is so weird in today's America is that people say they have different common sense, which is actually something my ex-wife was talking to me about. She said, you have different common sense than other people. That would make it uncommon sense. Think about it. If everybody had different common sense, common means alike. Uncommon means different. So we would have uncommon sense. I would think I need to put a shirt and pants on to go to work, and you would think you need to put a diaper on your forehead and go to work naked. That's different common sense. That would be uncommon sense because it's not the same. So we need to start working together. We need to stop making excuses. We need to start being kind. You know, and I am happy yesterday when I was trying to go into a building and I had my cart and I had like my stuff for trade night and I was putting everything on the cart and this guy like opened the door and I don't even think he saw the cart and he's like paying no attention and he just walked away. And I thought to myself like, wow, what a rude, but I didn't say anything. And then here I am stacking up my cart and the guy's coming back. He goes around me. He holds the door. He goes to the next door. He holds it. So that's where my initial thought was, this guy doesn't care. He's selfish. He only cares about himself. But then what did he do? For the second act, he helped me out. So sometimes people surprise you in a good way, and that's a positive thing. But let's start doing that. Let's start surprising people in a good way. You know, I held the door. I was at Chick-fil-A in DeWitt on the corner of Bridge and Erie that we work with Megan Sorber and her team. I was there and I was leaving, and there's these people leaving behind me. There was a husband and a wife, and they were probably, I'm going to say they were in like their 50s or 60s. And I held the door open for both of them. And they kind of looked at me. And the woman immediately came out the door and went to my like left side, and she goes, "Oh my goodness." She's like, "Wow." And I'm like, "What?" Like they just saw a magic trick. And I was like, "What?" She's like, "I don't know the last time somebody held a door open for me." And the guy looks at me and he's like looking at me stunned, and he's just like, "What?" Like, it was like, "Why did you do that?" And I looked at them and I said, "We all got to help each other, right? Like, this world's got to help each other out, right? It makes it a better place if we all just help each other." And they were stunned, happy, but stunned that somebody was holding the door open for them and thinks we should all help each other. Let's not make that stunning anymore. Let's make that a normal thing in society. And how about everything you want, you give? How about that? Because what do they say? If you want to get something in life, you have to put it out there. So maybe by giving, you will receive. Maybe by putting that energy out there of being a giving, loving, caring, open, healthy person, you will have giving, loving, caring, healthy people come in your direction. You can't expect what you do not give. And if you're not putting that out there, why would it come to you? If you're not holding the door for anybody, then, why do you expect it to be done for you? Now, maybe somebody holding a door for you and saying something to you on a day where you really needed it is God opening your eyes through that person because they send you a message and it changes your life. And maybe that message is what you're hearing right now on this show. Maybe God is working through me right now, which I hope that he is. Not because I have an ego, but because I work for him. I am simply a vessel for God. This show is not mine, it is his. And the moment I think it is mine and mine alone is the moment I fail. And I refuse to do that for him, or for me, or for you. So, this morning, today, I want you to take with you that you're going to do a good deed for somebody else. You're going to help somebody else. Not because they did something for you, not because they gave you money, not because they gave you a kiss, not because they winked at you, but because you're going to do it. Right? Maybe you don't spend enough time with your kids. So today, you tell your kid when you pick them up from school, we're going to go over to Sky Zone. We're going to bounce around for a little bit, you and me. Right? Maybe you call your mom and you say, "Ma, I haven't seen you in a while. Let's get some food." Right? Maybe you call your dad and say, "Pops, I know we can't golf right now, right? But there's that movie that you wanted to see. How about we go see it together? Maybe you text a friend who gets in touch with you all the time, and you're the first one to reach out today. He texts you every day. She texts you every day. Well, now, guess what? They didn't text you yet today. You send them a message. What do they say? Be the change you want to see in the world. Take the annoying moment of wanting someone to do for you and needing someone to do for you and expecting someone to do for you. And the fact that this world, oh man, selfish, do something nice for somebody. I challenged myself a long time ago, and I've done a horrible job at this. So I'm going to take my own challenge while I ask you to take yours. I said to myself, every time somebody does something mean to me, says something mean to me, gives me negativity, I'm going to, instead of retaliating with negativity or retaliating with something back at that person in a negative way or toward anybody in a negative way, I'm going to do something good. For every bad deed that is done to me, for every bad word that is said to me, I'm going to do something good. And it doesn't have to make any sense. A bunch of people wrote me negative messages on social media. I'm going to call up my friend and we're going to laugh for an hour. Something good. Because if you take all the negative energy in the world and when it hits you, it comes back positive. It hits you and doesn't bounce off of you to somebody else. It doesn't hit you and get absorbed by you. It hits you and is reflected as positivity. Negativity dies at your feet when you do something positive. Negativity dies at your feet when you say something positive. So when negativity comes to your door today, my task for you is to meet it with positivity. Do not respond to negativity with negativity, because the world is round, flat earthers. The world is round. So if you put out negativity, it will eventually find its way all the way around this beautiful globe back to you. And if you put out positivity, you think it takes too long, but it's going to find its way all the way around this world back to you. Be what you want. Act how you want to be acted toward. Speak how you want to be spoken to. And stop expecting the world to do right by you when you do not do right by the world. That is my lesson to you and me in the annoying moment of the week. To take something negative and to turn it into something positive, which is exactly what I'm asking you to do today. I'm also asking you to head out to Carvel DeWitt, the longest standing Carvel franchise in the continental United States. It's right here in our backyard in my hometown, Carvel DeWitt. It is amazing. Everything that they have. Don't let the cold weather or the rain fool you. Any season, any weather, Carvel DeWitt, 4322 East Genesee Street, is waiting to see you, hear from you, have a catering opportunity, fundraising opportunity, so many things happening at Carvel DeWitt. Go and see them today. Let them know that DT sent you to 4322 East Genesee Street in DeWitt, New York. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, we're going to hop right in to Lead, Learn, Evolve, Ad-Lib, and Deliver. Lead today, proudly presented, and every Friday, proudly presented by Chick-fil-A Cicero, Jim Sikowski, and the crew. Today's topic is disagreeing but still talking. Disagreeing but still talking. You know, the holidays are coming around. And with the holidays coming around, I want you to think about how we joke about, oh man, I gotta go to Thanksgiving, which means I gotta sit across from Uncle so-and-so and Aunt so-and-so, and they can't stop talking about so-and-so, and they voted for so-and-so, and I don't like so-and-so, and I can't believe that they try to get me to go to their side every time that we see each other. Man, oh man, am I dreading having to go to my Thanksgiving. I'm going to ask you to do something different this Thanksgiving. I'm going to ask you that when you are sitting across and sitting next to the people that don't agree with you, that you keep the conversation going with civility and an open heart and an open mind. Because sometimes you're wrong, and sometimes they are. But the problem in our families and in society today is when we don't agree with each other, we stop talking. You can't stop talking. You have to continue. That doesn't mean don't listen. Don't misconstrue me there. It means that we have to take time to spend together, working together, figuring things out together. Because if we've learned anything from a congressional shutdown, if we've learned, well, national government shutdown, which had to do with Congress, if we learned anything from the federal government, it's that the people making decisions for us, when they neener, I'm right, you're wrong, nothing gets done. And was there anybody that was not annoyed by the fact that flights got canceled? Was there anybody that's not annoyed by the fact that certain things aren't getting done, certain people aren't getting paid? Did you realize some things were government jobs that you didn't know? Did you realize that maybe like the TSA would be affected? Like, oh, like maybe the security people, if they go on strike, I can't travel. If they go on strike, I can't go anywhere. Because somebody has to check my bag to make sure that everything's good. So when we sit here today and we have a conversation today about life, and we have a conversation in these holidays with our families about what's going on and why it's going on and whose fault it is, I'm going to ask you to do something for me that maybe you haven't done ever, or maybe you haven't done in a long time. I'm going to ask you that when you disagree, you don't stop the conversation. I have had numerous conversations with people that don't agree with me, with people that see things similarly but differently, or maybe totally differently. I have friends of different religions, same God, but different religions. I have friends that vote differently than I do. I have friends that are okay with certain things that I'm not okay with. I have friends that say, hey, if it's not affecting me, it's fine. Where I say, because that's how things creep into culture, and that's how things get crazy. When you go, not my problem, not my problem, not my problem, then all of a sudden everything's on fire, and now it's everybody's problem. I can't judge, but I will always make decisions. Let me stop that. I can't judge, period. My name, Daniel, means God is my judge. That's my name. My name literally is a reminder to me that I'm not allowed to judge anybody or anything, because God is the judge, the only judge, the one and only true judge. Even judges in society, right? You have to go to the almighty judge. And if you can live with yourself in that, then okay. But I am not allowed to judge. It's not my job. It's his. And he's my judge, right? My name doesn't mean God is our judge. It means he's my judge. It means he's going to judge me. At the end of my life, he gets to decide, not me. Not how many followers I have, how many people watched and listened to my shows, not how many people supported the work that I did, not how big my house is or how many cars I have. But he's going to decide based on if I am worthy. And at the end of your life, you want to hear God say, if you hear him say nothing else, you want to hopefully hear him say, I love you, my son or daughter. I love you, and well done, good and faithful servant. And we don't like the word servant because we think of a slave. I've thought that too. But what does servant really mean? I'm serving something, right? If I'm serving my community, am I not a servant to the community? I'm serving the community, right? But we don't want to look at ourselves as low. A servant is low. Someone who serves us is low. A butler is low. Someone who cleans our house is low. Who watches our kids is low. No. Servant leadership. You hear people talk about that? Servant leadership. Okay? The leader of my life died on a cross. He didn't have to. He had the power. He is God. He worked miracles. You don't think he could take himself down from there? He let it happen so that we could be here and have a shot at going someplace better than here. Okay? That up in heaven, if there's a Syracuse up there, they didn't do all the roads at the same time, and the traffic's better. So, but I want you this holiday season and today and in general, when you disagree with someone, don't end the conversation. Now, I'm not saying to stick around people that are like swearing at you and calling you names and being violent. I'm not saying that. I'm saying have an even keel like this, right? A normal voice conversation about stuff, right? Do it. Talk about Biden and Trump. Talk about Republican and Democrat. Talk about your views and their views. But when you disagree, keep talking. Because that's how you learn things. I spoke with people that did not vote the way I voted or think the way that I think. And those hour upon hour upon hour conversations, I learned things. And hopefully they did too. And it forced me to check myself and not just regurgitate things that I've seen on television, because I say to people all the time, don't do that. And I felt like I don't really know what I'm talking about. So I need to know that, right, in the future. And so I check myself. When I'm talking now, I'm like, I should say alleged, I should say this, because I don't really know. Right? And there's things out there, technology, I don't know if it's listening, but there's technology out there right now that is actually putting out false stories, false quotations, false things. The fact that we let this into our life, the fact that we are so obsessed with technology and we're lazy, not everybody, but the fact that there is a laziness to American people, there's a laziness to wanting technology to do everything for us, and this like lack of personal responsibility, you allowed this technology, this 2-letter technology into your life, and it is literally on social media manipulating you, lying to you, and unless you fact check it, you don't even know that the story's not real. Like, there was a story put out about Fran Brown, about something he said after the Miami game. Then I went and watched the entire press conference. Never said it. But there's a story out there. So I wonder, is that the technology that we're now leaning on and spending all this money on, has it already started to lie and manipulate and do things toward us? So it is very important that not only you have conversations with people that don't think the same as you or look the same as you or act the same as you, because what do we learn in life if we're like, no, I'm just going to do whatever I want to do and it's just like it's all about me? Like, how do we actually know? And the funny thing about stuff is that there's people that claim to be from the same tribe, right? We all agree and we all believe the same thing. But when it comes to the hierarchy of which one of those beliefs is more important, then they start fighting with each other. So, do we really know? And in today's society, when I see people yelling and screaming and crying and being violent and doing things, I'm like, do you really even know what you're defending? Do you really even know the repercussions of what you're saying? And I will tell you this, and I don't care if this upsets people. The murder of anyone is not godly. The murder of any color, any religion, any sexual orientation, any gender, which there's two, but any gender, the murder of anyone is not something pleasing to your Lord. It's not. And the fact that this country took the death of somebody and polarized it and said you're either on this side or on this side. Like, somebody died. Died. That was someone's kid, someone's husband, someone's father. Right? The woman on the train in Charlotte, that's someone's daughter. Could be someone's girlfriend. Could be somebody's sister. Somebody's friend. Somebody's worker. I mean, why have we become so cool with, if they don't agree with what... Think about that. If you and I don't agree about something, I'm okay if you die? Why are people saying things like that? If you don't agree with me, your life doesn't matter. That's how bad it's gotten. That because you won't sit and talk to somebody that thinks differently than you do, you're okay if they die. Like, you're going to have a conversation with someone, they voted for someone, you voted for the other person, they walk away from you, you don't care if they get hit by a bus, because better for the world that there's less of those people voting so your person can always win. So you support genocide? You support the death of all people that don't agree with you? The mass killing of those that think differently, act differently, or don't do what you want them to do? So you support dictatorship? So you support authoritarianism? Like, people aren't really hearing what they're supporting. And there's this thing called projection. And I learned this in psychology. There's this thing called projection where everything you're saying and or doing, you put it onto somebody else so that you can face what you're doing, but then you take yourself out of it. So it's like you have an ego, you're admitting you're wrong, but you're putting it onto someone else to essentially take all of your sins, throw them on someone, yell at it so that you're facing the problem in your twisted way, but it's somebody else's fault. Like, if you're a cheater, you're going to someone, accusing them of cheating, yelling at them about cheating, freaking out about them about cheating, chastising them about cheating, because you're not going to yell at yourself, but you have to yell at someone because you have to get it out, because you have to make it look like you solved the problem, but you solve the problem by taking your sin and putting it onto something else. Projection, right? You're yelling at what you are instead of facing that it's you that you should be figuring out. Not yelling at. You shouldn't be yelling at anybody. But you need to figure it out. Right? We need to figure things out. And we have to do it together. We have to figure things out together. Like, every day, almost every day I wake up, there's a moment where I think about the fact that I lost 2 friends because I said the murdering of anyone, whether they agree with me or not, is wrong. I never ever thought in my life that I would live to see a world that doesn't care if people die. Because if those people don't agree with you, well, then they should die. Or it just doesn't matter if they do. And I can never shrug my shoulders. Like, if I had a neighbor that was a total jerk, that was mean, put his trash on my lawn, didn't talk to me, was super rude, screamed at his wife, was mean to his kids, just like an all-around just negative person, if they died, I would get on my knees and I'd pray to God that their soul goes to heaven, that their loved ones are safe and sound here on earth, that their loved ones are safe and sound in heaven, that they are greeted by their loved ones in heaven with God, that God is now the closest to that person, and they are fully with God. They're with their loved ones in heaven, and they're still with their loved ones here on earth, who are also with their loved ones here on earth. Like, their loved ones are all together, and that they're safe and sound here on earth, they're safe and sound in heaven, and they're always connected through God, because dying, you destroyed our death, and rising, you restored our life. So if it was a good bond, that bond stays together. I mean, if it's not a good bond, then yeah, maybe it does separate, but if it was a good bond, that those that have passed on are still with those that are here. only in a good way. I've literally prayed for who some consider to be the most horrible, meanest, most evil people in the world. I've prayed for those people to be safe and sound, just like you and me. Because the God that I serve does not tell me that I get to choose who I pray for, and I get to choose who matters. So this holiday season, when you sit at the table and those conversations arise about whatever, don't yell, don't call names, don't storm out. Do something completely insane. Do something completely out of the ordinary. Sit there calmly and have a conversation. And maybe, just maybe, families will stop excommunicating their grandmothers and their grandfathers and their moms and their dads and their brothers and their sisters and their husbands and their wives and their kids and friends of the family. Disagree. That's fine. But talk through it. Have you learned nothing from seeing our federal government that makes a lot of decisions for you and me shut down because they just didn't want to work together and they didn't want to talk after they disagreed? There is no relationship on this planet that truly is healthy, that does not talk through a disagreement or after the disagreement. There is no, my relationship, my marriage, she thinks it ended because of something else. A huge reason why it didn't work, when we disagreed, when something was wrong, when there was a giant problem, I wanted to talk about it. She wanted to pretend like it didn't exist. That's not how you deal with life. If you put enough things under the rug, you can't see over it, and you most certainly are going to trip over it. Life is not meant to be, well, someone else will figure it out. Life is meant to be, this is my problem, what am I going to do about it? Do you face problems? Do you acknowledge them? And do you focus on the problem, or do you focus on the solution? This world cannot last in a healthy way if you and I don't talk together, work it out, even when we disagree. So let's try a little bit harder and remember that, hey, that's my grandma that I don't agree with. I love her. May that love be bigger than the disagreement and bigger than the opinion. Because if God shut us out the moment that he didn't agree with something we said or did, not a single one of us would be going to heaven. Again, are you going to act more like him? Or are you going to just set everything on fire? Because when you set everything on fire, it eventually burns your house down too. Just remember, there is bliss and there is calamity. And I pray that you choose bliss. But you cannot ask for what you do not give. This has been LEAD. Learn, Evolve, Ad-lib, and Deliver is the acronym. Chick-fil-A Cicero is our proud presenter of this wonderful segment on the show. When you disagree, talk it through. And God bless you all. And let's have a good holiday season. Before we jump into our conversation with Mr. Casey Brown, the top dog of the week, proudly presented by K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. That's K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, the place to bring your dog for short-term care. And it is on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, right across the street from BJ's Wholesale Club. And it is close to so many things. So make sure that you make your way out to K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. You can get more information on how your dog will, like where they'll be, what'll be going on throughout the day by calling 315-437-7110. All of us that love our dogs want to make sure that they're going to the right place, so make sure you call 315-437-7110 or go to K-9 Kamp.com. That's K-9 Kamp.com. You can also go to 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. Walk in there, say, DT told me all about this K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare place, and you want to go see it for yourself? Well, they have a self-serve dog wash, they have the daycare, and they have a fully fledged store that has a bunch of needs for your dogs. So you could just go in there to shop and shop local, which is a great thing to do if you want to keep your community going. So many things available to you at K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare. My top dog of the week. Man, where do I want to go with this? My top dog of the week for this week, I got to have two. I got to have baby Millie and baby George. I got to see them both yesterday. I got to meet Millie for the first time, the daughter of Anthony and Beth, and I got to see George, who I've seen George one other time, but shout out to Alex and Beth, to be around them and see George last night. He smiled at me for the first time, and he smiled at me twice. So I feel pretty cool today. And I want to shout out these little ones because they're the future of this world. They're proof that the best is yet to come, and they're proof. They should be proof to every single adult when you see this innocent, beautiful, wonderful face that is not screaming or yelling or taking opinions or ostracizing or doing all these things that human beings do sometimes, that we all started with not doing that. And we can all get back to not doing that. So these babies are a reminder to us that life is beautiful, it is pure, it comes from God, and it is whatever we want to make it. And Millie, George, make it something that is absolutely beyond your wildest dreams. Believe in God. Put Him first. Chase your dreams. Trust in Him. Trust in yourself is the best advice I can give you, because you will go beyond your dreams. You will go beyond the clouds, and you will live a life that is truly special, unique, wonderful, and just so exciting to wake up for every day. I hope for you, Millie, and I hope for you, George, and to all the babies out there, that your life is everything you want it to be and more. I pray for your health. I pray for your safety. I pray for your happiness. I pray that you do God's will and that you are well, and that you do that with every gift that He gives you, and that He gives you all of those gifts. That you are overly blessed. That your life is long, it's fun, and it goes by slowly. And that you heal from whatever comes your way completely and for good. And no matter what, that you heal through God and you handle well whatever comes your way in and out of your control. And that you're safe and sound and always with your loved ones. And they're always with you in heaven and on earth. For Millie, for George, and for all the babies that remind us how beautiful, pure, and good life is. You are my top dogs of the week. And God bless to you all. In the name of the Father, and of the Son, and of the Holy Spirit. Amen. And now, Casey Brown.
Hey everyone, Dan Tortora here of Wake Up Call on the road, running around here as we get set for the Section 3 Class AA Championship for the wonderful Central New York squads that we have here. We have Christian Brothers Academy will be taking on Liverpool High School, and it is a rematch of a game that we saw just a few weeks ago that was won by CBA. We're here with the head coach of the CBA Brothers football program, Casey Brown. Casey, how are you?
Fantastic. Loving the day. How are you?
Doing very well. And I know you're on the field here. You're excited, getting ready for it. You'll be in the dome. It'll be nice for you to be in less wet weather and warmer weather, but just bring me into as you get set and prepared just what the team has looked like here as you've gone through practice this week.
Been great. I think we have high energy. The kids are excited. You got to bring the energy to bring the passion. And it's a privilege to practice at this time of the year.
Yeah, and it's another opportunity and another sectional championship, which has become a normalcy for Christian Brothers Academy. This school in Liverpool that you saw just a few weeks ago handed them their first loss of the season when both teams were undefeated. Just what you took away from that game against Liverpool.
You had two really good teams in Central New York there that were preparing to play, and I thought it was a great game for us. But I know Liverpool's going to be preparing and to have a better showing this week.
I know you got to be who you are, but as a coach, I mean, obviously you make adjustments where you can. Despite the victory, going back to that film, did you kind of see some areas where you feel like you still could get better and you could adjust maybe some things you'll implement?
Always. Old ball coach told me once, on film, you're never as bad as you thought you were, and you're never as good as you thought you were. So we absolutely found some glaring issues that we needed to take care of, and we've done that every single week.
To be back in the dome, like you said, at this time of year, to be practicing at this time of year is a good thing. Just what it means to you to be there inside of the dome and to have the opportunity to be in front of your fans in an arena that's not just known in this area, but known all across the country.
You can't take it for granted, right? You never know if you're able to have an opportunity to ever be on that floor again. So when you have these type of games and these type of opportunities to present your team to section or the state, you want to take advantage of that. So we're really happy and blessed to have this opportunity. And like I said, you never know if you're going to be back again.
Where have you seen this team improve the most when you are looking at the film? Like you said, never as bad as you think it is, never as good as you think it is. What can you say improvement-wise that you've seen the most out of this squad from that first week all the way to where we are right now?
Developed as a team, right? They had a chip on their shoulder in terms of, can we do it? Can this team, prove themselves not to ourselves? You had all these other guys, you had the 16 guys that graduated last year and that proved to be, at a great level. And they want to be able to do the same thing. They want to be able to get on the field. But it all starts in the weight room. It all starts in the classroom. It all starts in the hallways. And these guys love each other. They spend a lot of time together. They learn to trust each other. And again, communication. But in the end here, it's about who can trust and support each other along the way.
And, this team is called the Brothers, but the brotherhood is not something to take for granted. Just what you could say to the alumni that show up to the games and to the people that'll be there in the dome, to the people that have been there throughout the year.
Thank you. You turn around at the end of a game, homecoming, or just even on our sideline, you see the guys coming back that have played in the years before, or guys trying, or our alumni. They're just an amazing group. Very, very, very lucky to have so much support from our administration, from our staff, from our teachers, from our parents and alumni. But everybody comes to cheer on the Brothers.
And when you look at the offensive side of the ball, Bruce Williams, constantly challenging himself and drawing up fantastic plays and opportunities like last year in the States to win another state title. What is it that you've seen out of Bruce this year that you can maybe make a note of?
It's Bruce, it's Jason Randall, it's Bob Tagley, it's Leroy Collins. It's the staff, it's the offensive staff that are putting these plans together and working together as one. There's no egos in the room. It's all for this team. There's a lot of concepts. There's a lot of conversations. But what can we do to put the best product on the field with the best 11 guys? And the same with defense. Brian Bruno, Gideon Dixon, Chris Acuff, Gideon Dixon Sr., these guys, again, working tirelessly, watching film and just making sure we're tacticians on the field and understanding alignment, assignment, and just supporting the brother. It's both sides.
And this staff that you've assembled, offensively, defensively, special teams, there's something to be said about preparing these student athletes in the classroom, but also preparing them on the field to be ready to go on to a football program, NCAA Division I, Division II, Division III, JUCO, whatever it may be, and to be able to be effective right away. We've seen Dante Baccier out there. We've seen Matt Hahn out here recently. We have seen the likes of Darian Williams and all three of those guys that were out there for Syracuse this season so far. And we've seen guys throughout history that have been able to make an immediate impact. Just what you could say to the caliber of your staff as a whole and how they teach these student athletes to really be ready, collegiately ready, to step onto the field and maybe impress some coaches right away.
Yeah, the three guys at Syracuse have really done a nice job. And again, that starts from here. But we also have guys, Jordan Ray at Albany. We've got Amari Pitts at Central Connecticut. You've got Sire Torrance at BC, where these guys had to fight to get onto the field. And it's hard. You go from being the superstar here in Central New York and maybe even have some state recognition to, trying to really grind it out in terms of that. And we got guys playing Division III all over the place, right? And these guys are grinding out, and then they're finding out what college football is all about. And they've got to be able to manage the time of classes and meals and trainings and lifting. And it's a different beast. And you got to love the game of football. But we try to give the guys a little piece of what that's going to be like here, just in terms of time management. You got to be in class. You got to have study table after school. So, when they go from the end of the day to practice or treatment, they have a study table. They got to get their work done because we don't want them to go home and have to study at 8 o'clock at night. So they have treatments that they have to go to, just like in college. We have mandatory lifts, just like in college. So we try to emulate some of the aspects of college, so the transition's a little bit easier. But again, it helps us in the end for this team.
Yeah, absolutely. I mean, really, that's what I was getting to, is the fact that, Christian Brothers Academy really does help to be a step above what you see out there typically to get you ready for the collegiate world. I could say that because I look back on my classes and I'm like, man, CBA pushed me so hard that those classes in college really felt like it was a continuation of what I was already doing. Casey, before I let you go, just for you to look into the mirror, how you've grown as a coach, how you've challenged yourself, maybe something that you've taken away from how you've attacked the game this year in 2025.
Well, if you talk to some of the guys that I coached 30 years ago, they say I'm getting a little soft when I talk to those guys. But I appreciate the game. I've learned from a lot of different head coaches in terms of how to lead and how to be an efficient communicator in terms of that stuff. So I'm just trying to make a difference in these young guys' lives and see where they end up as fathers, as leaders in the community. We're using this game of football to teach people how to be young, positive young men who can be great leaders in our community. It's a silly little football game, as Coach Kaz used to tell me, but we got to be able to use this game to grow these young men for our community.
Yeah, and just the last note, just what you saw from the postseason leading into this sectional title, just what you took away from the competition that you did have up to this point and what they did to make you better.
They challenge us every single week. We got everybody's best game. There's no doubt about it. So the coaches did a really nice job on the other side. The players did a nice job on the other side. I give all of our opponents, thanks just for bringing their best and just loving this game and being part of this game. That is so special to everybody. So everybody has these memories, and we hope to continue to make them.
That come from Casey Brown. You could see him in the dome for the sectional title with the Christian Brothers Academy Brothers football program. And Casey, as you know, I will see you this weekend. We didn't hear you. What'd you say?
Hey, go Brothers.
Oh, there it is. All right, Casey, thank you so much. Appreciate you. And there he is on the field. He'll be warmer this weekend, but I know he's always happy to be out there on the field. Thank you, Casey.
Thank you. Thank you.
So with that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, as we get set for the Section 3 Class AA Championship going on this weekend at the Dome on Saturday. We will see it this Saturday, November 15th, and it's going to be at 6 p.m. Eastern Time in the Dome. On the other side of this matchup, somebody who I've spent a lot of time with over the years, is Mr. Joe Sindoni, the head coach of the Liverpool High School football program heading into the 2025 Section 3 Class AA Championship. Joe, how are you?
Good morning. Thanks for having me on.
Absolutely. And I know that, this has been an awesome season for Liverpool High School. I know that you are very serious in your craft. I've had the opportunity to be in that meeting before, be over at practice, and I know how hard you guys work to get to moments like this. And we've been used to seeing a couple teams that are in this championship, and now we get to see Liverpool here fighting for a Section 3 Class AA title. Just bring me into this season and the road to get to a place where Liverpool can make some history.
Well, it started the week after last season ended. Our kids were in the weight room 4 days a week. We got a little beat up at the end of last year, and we made the determination that we were going to be a different team physically this year. And I think that, we've been that team up to this point. It's been a commitment by a large group of kids, and we have some really good leaders, and obviously some talented athletes and really good coaches. So it's come together for a very successful season so far. And we've every year I've been here, I feel like we've taken a step, and the program's gotten better than it was the year before, and we've accomplished that this year, but we're not satisfied with that given the opportunity we have in front of us tomorrow.
Yeah, and like you said, this great opportunity that you have to be here. You mentioned your staff and just what the staff has meant to you, to just kind of go through the staff and the type of leadership that you have on the offensive and defensive side of the ball, as well as helping out and working with special teams. Just what you can say to go a little bit deeper into who your staff is and just what they've meant to you as you've grown over the years with them.
Well, how long do you have? Because there's a lot of them.
As long as you want. As long as we can enjoy a grandma's pie while we talk about it. But go
That's
ahead.
Right. That's what's missing from this thing. I'm fortunate that I have some guys that played for me years and years ago, 1998, that have stuck around with me through all the places that we've been. One is Tim Lee, my defensive coordinator. The other is Tim Brown, he's my wide receivers coach. He's essentially our pass game guy. Those guys, I've known them since they were in 8th grade. And they played for me at CBA in 1998. On the offensive side of the ball, I got Antoine Johnson that does running backs, along with Tim Brown doing the receivers. Frank Nettie does my quarterbacks. Frank Nettie is 80 years old. He's been coaching at Liverpool since 1980, and he's got more energy than any staff member I got. My offensive line coach is a younger guy named CJ Carbone, who's a CBA kid. My tight ends coach is Scott Eustace, who's been at Bishop Ludd and been at Jordan Elbridge. On the other side of the ball, Tim Lee does the linebackers and calls the defense. Bob DeLong and Dan Salisbury coach our secondary. Scott Eustace does our DNs, and Elijah Wright, a new guy for us, Bubba from played for Syracuse University, coaches our D tackles. And then I've got guys that help us. Just Guy Blasey is essentially our operations person. He handles all the equipment, all the inventory. He and Steve Kanzadian, they got uniforms hanging in the lockers on game night. They make sure that everything's where it's supposed to be, everything's accounted for, and that it's a good experience for the kids. Drew Johnson helps out with the running backs with his son Antoine. And maybe most importantly, my daughter Juliana, films practice and does all sorts of things to help the team. So we got a lot of people helping. They all have a job. They're all concerned with just doing their job. That no one's trying to be the head coach. No one's trying to do more than what they need to do. They just kind of plug in and they know where we need them to help.
Yeah, and you mentioned Juliana.
I'm sure I forgot somebody in that thing, and I'll hear about it later.
Anyway, listen, you said a lot of nice things about a lot of people there with your staff, and you mentioned Juliana, your daughter, and all the work that she's done, and obviously John, your quarterback, your son. So, I mean, to have this family affair, to be at the Dome, to rise to the occasion, and to be fighting for a championship, and to know that, you know, you have Juliana and John there with you, John on the field and Juliana right there on the sideline, a part of all this. I mean, that is a unique and really rare experience that coaches get to have. So bring me into that side of it.
It's been great. It's been, you know, I've been with John for 4 years. Juliana's been at Liverpool for the last 2. Getting to spend that much time with them in these years of their life, I have really enjoyed it most of the time. They're still teenagers and they still have their moments where they make you nuts, but Liverpool has been an unbelievable experience for all of us. And the fact that we're having some success on top of it is just icing on the cake. You know, they're going to go off to college next year. In fact, Juliana just found out yesterday she got in Alabama, which I'm very excited about because she aspires to work for their football program down there, and that was a big step. And we had the whole team gave her a round of applause in practice yesterday because we kind of found out in the middle of practice. But to have these experiences with my family has just been great.
Yeah, and shout out and congratulations. I mean, Juliana, if you are watching this live or on playback, congratulations to you for Alabama. And I don't know, maybe are we going to see the Sindoni family roll some tide? So I don't know. That'd be pretty wild, pretty crazy here. But
my wife's ready to move down there. I'll tell you that. She's ready to go.
Well, and I have to say this too when we speak about family, Joe, is that, you know, you and I both know that over a year ago, we were planning on doing a show together, and we did a show together, had the football team come out, and this speaks to it speaks to our friendship, it speaks to your commitment, it speaks to who you are as a human being, that you came and did this show, and then like, oh, by the way, you were like, oh, you know, right before we were supposed to be here, we got into an accident. The car got totaled. Like, someone in your family could have died. You could have died. I mean, this was a crazy situation and a sad situation. And yet you're sitting with me in the booth like, you know, that almost happened, just so you know, just got a new car, wasn't even a week old. It gets totaled. My family was in the car. I'm in the car, but there's no scratches on anybody and everybody looked okay. And we're just rocking and rolling with life. To look at moments like that, where obviously God put his hand on your vehicle, to be where you are right now. And we talk about all these moments with family, just the appreciation for the blessings that you have in your life, knowing that, you know, life kind of came before your eyes in recent history here and everybody came out well. And all I could think about was, I don't even know if I believe you, Joe, because like everybody's good. Like everyone's laughing and joking and eating pizza, but life comes at you fast. And, you know, this moment that you'll have in the Dome, it's here because somebody was looking out for you up there.
I agree. We were lucky with that. There's no two ways about it that we were fortunate to walk away from you know a situation where the car is totaled and all the airbags are deployed. And really nobody has to even, you know, as so much as sit in the ambulance. So, you know, we're lucky for that. I mean, obviously we've been given a lot of blessings, and you know, you try to make the most of what you have. You try to maximize the opportunities that you're given, and you know, I'm a big believer in, you know, you will get out of something what you put into it. But what you get may not always be exactly what you thought you were going to get. In other words, we're ready to go play for a championship, and we're excited about getting that. And you know, we want to take this thing as far as it can go. But at the end of it, no matter what the outcome of that game is, we're going to sit back and say, wow, look at what we got together. Look at what we had. Look at the opportunities we had. Look at the relationships we made. Look at all of these other things that aren't even necessarily attached to the winning and the losing.
Yeah, and that journey, right, that we're talking about to be where you are right now. I mean, you and I spoke. I had somebody reach out to me and said, "Have you ever spoken to Joe Sindoni?" And I was like, "No, I haven't had the opportunity." And at the time, you were out in Skinny Atlas, and they're like, "You definitely got to speak with him." And then obviously everything happened, and you shipped from Skinny Atlas to Liverpool. And I was able to get in touch with you pretty quickly, pretty much right away. And we spoke with you coming into the program. What did you want to build? What was left there for you? Was there anything left there? What's the culture like? What's the environment like? How are you going to assemble this and put this together? So, I mean, I've been with you from when the opportunity pretty much started. So to be from that moment to where Liverpool is right now, what can you say about this football program from the day you walked in when we got to sit down basically and to the day right now where you're playing for a championship?
Well, I use the word culture a lot, but I think it's important with these types of sports programs and these types of things. We have worked very, very, very hard to change the culture that we inherited. Not that it was bad, it was somebody else's, it was what it was, but it wasn't how we wanted to do things. And that took time. And the thing about culture is it's always evolving, it's always challenging you, it's always something that you have to monitor, it's something you have to stay on top of, especially in a big school like ours. But I think maybe the thing I feel the best about is not just the changes to the culture in terms of how we play football, but how kids act and how kids are as citizens in the community and how they are in the classroom. And it's never going to be perfect, but I'm very pleased with the way our program represents itself and the expectations of somebody now when you hear that they're a Liverpool football player.
Yeah, and what are those expectations? When we talk about being a Liverpool football player, what has that grown into meaning, in your opinion?
Well, I'll give you a story. Middle of the season, I forget who we were playing. Referee comes over to me and he says, "What did you do to these kids?" I said, "What are you talking about?" He said, "Every single one of them, they all refer to us only as sir. They're polite. They don't say a word. They don't." I think being a part of my program, our program, the Liverpool program, means that you should conduct yourself in a way that is both respectful of other people, as well as someone that's hardworking and someone that's going to go the extra mile with things, and that's the expectation. So it's how you address your teachers. It's how, if they come on your show, how they address you. It's how they address the referees. It's how they conduct themselves, not just on the football field, but everywhere that they are. And we're dealing with teenage kids, and it's never perfect, but that's the culture that we're trying to build. That's what we want. We're trying to turn these kids into men that understand how to function in a society, the right way to treat people, work ethic, all of those things. We hammer on that all the time.
Well, you and I had a conversation about this because when we did a show recently at Avicoli's, as we always do every year, right down the road from Liverpool High School, I said something to you. I said, every single one of your players that was there that day came up to you, and there was a ton of them, and they said, "Thank you, Coach. Thank you, Coach. Appreciate it, Coach. Thanks for dinner, Coach. Thanks for the pizza, Coach. Thanks for getting dinner, Coach. Thanks for that, Coach." And then there was one kid at the end that came over to you and said, "Oh, Coach, I want to make sure I said thank you." And I there's been more than one occasion that you and I have sat down at Avicoli's, and I've looked at you and I've said, when you speak, like when we're doing the show and we're live and we're sitting there together, like when the kids speak, they're quiet, they listen to each other, they're razzing each other, having a good time. But you don't always see that with coaches. When you spoke, all of your student athletes were dead silent, watching you, listening to what you had to say. They were thanking you for being there, thanking you for the opportunity, thanking me for the opportunity, thanking you for the pizza. that goes off of the story you just told. And did I not just say to you a couple months ago, you don't get that everywhere, Joe. You don't see that everywhere, Joe. So I've seen the Liverpool football program culture in action and how they've treated me, how they've treated you, and how they collectively will join together and listen to something and approach something together. And I can honestly tell you that I can echo the story that you just told, because I've seen respect from them for their coach, for the people working at Avicoli's, for me. So I can definitely say that that's a very real thing with Liverpool.
Well, and gratitude, I think, is something that we talk about also. You know, we've developed this great group of moms that every night before the game, so they'll do it tonight, they come in and they put on a meal, they put on a spread like you wouldn't believe. And, you know, just to make sure that all these kids are getting a really good, solid, healthy meal the night before a game. And they give the moms a standing O every single time they're in there before they do it. And they walk through the line. It's, you know, it's please and thank you. And it's, you know, that's just part of it. And our kids have been really good with that. And we have good kids. You know, we have kids that have been fun to coach and you know, makes you want to keep the season going that much more when you have a team like this.
So before I let you go, Joe, when you take a look at that last game, obviously at the time you're undefeated, CBA is undefeated, you match up against each other. What did you learn from that? Your takeaways, how you address practice, how you move forward. I mean, you learn from the wins, you learn from the losses, right? Great coaches learn from both, not just one or the other. But you have had the opportunity to play CBA as you get set to do it again in the championship game. So what were the takeaways that stayed with you?
You know, the story of our season for this team was we played one bad half of football the whole season. And it was against CBA. And it was bad for a few reasons. One, it was bad because CBA is really good. And two, it was bad. I think we were wound so tightly in that game that we made uncharacteristic mistakes across the board. Lining up wrong, throws, catches, penalties, you name it, we did it. It was a learning experience for us. It was a big game. Our kids had a really intense week of practice. They wanted it so bad, and they showed up, and I think we got so tightly wound that we just couldn't go out and perform like we normally perform. So there were learning lessons, and we said to the kids, look, to achieve our goals, you're going to have to beat them a second time. The first time matters, but it doesn't matter. To achieve our goals, you got to win the second one. So you gotta learn from the first one. And I think that there's a lot to learn. Now, having said that, CBA is an immensely talented team that they don't have a ton of weaknesses. You know, for a high school team, you look at them and not only do they not have a ton of weaknesses, there aren't many players you could look at on their team and say, well, if that guy goes down, they're screwed. No, they got a guy coming off the bench. I mean, they have 3 running backs with Division I offers. They got guys coming off the bench who are very talented and can step right in. Not a lot of high school teams have that. You know, having said that, our goal is to go in and make it a game, make it a fight, make it a battle. I mean, and I think you saw what CNS did, not so much from a schematic standpoint, but just the way they went in and said, we're gonna battle. And I think that's the attitude that you have to take. And I think coming up to that game, we had played some league games coming up that weren't of the speed or caliber of CBA. And you can make mistakes against those types of teams sometimes and not be punished for it. But when you make mistakes against a good team, they make you feel it right away, and that's what CBA did. So, you know, that's kind of my synopsis of it. That's where I think it stands, and they're a really good team, but we are very excited to have another crack at them.
Yeah, and that's going to happen this weekend in the Dome. That is, for all of you watching and listening live, this is just a day, not even a little bit over 24 hours from now. that we will have it Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m., the Section 3 Class AA Championship. Joe, final note here, what you want to say to the Liverpool community who will be joining you in the Dome this weekend?
I want to say thank you for the support all season, and we look forward to seeing you in the Dome.
That coming from Joe Sindoni here on the broadcast. Grandma's pie no matter what. That's how I look at it. So appreciate you, Joe, for everything that you bring. And thank you to you and your entire family for how you've treated me, and for the Liverpool family and how you have welcomed me and what you have done over the years. And to Ari Lieberman and everybody over at Liverpool, this is definitely a very proud moment and a happy moment that the Liverpool football program gets to be represented inside of the Dome because of the work that you did tirelessly. I think it's going to be a great game between you and CBA, and I will be on site for that game. I will be there for every single moment of this, and I can't wait because I definitely have a lot of respect and a lot of appreciation for the work that you and your staff have done in short order time. So congratulations for getting to this point. I know the job is not finished, and I will look forward to seeing you in the Dome.
Thank you.
That coming from Joe Sindoni here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. You heard from both sides of the matchup, and that matchup will happen, like I said, in almost less than 24 hours, less than 48 hours. We're going to see it Saturday, November 15th in the Dome at 6 p.m. If you ain't there, you better get there. I mean, you got to figure it out, right? There's plenty of places to buy tickets, and the schools have put up, I believe that both schools have put up how you can buy tickets and how you can interact. So make sure that you do that. Get your tickets, get out to the game, go to the Dome. Probably the best game you're going to see in the Dome this season, folks, outside of the comeback game against UConn. So with that being said, we're going to take a quick step aside. This is what I love about what I get to do for a living. You listen to shows and you're like, when's the commercials going to be off? And it's commercial. We haven't even taken one. We are all the way to the tail end of the show. We haven't even taken a break yet because I've wanted to give you content that you should have. So we're going to take a quick step aside for a fast break. When we come back, one of my favorite human beings that I've met through chasing these dreams of mine, Jerome Smith. The hay is never in the mother freaking barn. He knows it. I know it. He will be with me right after this fast break. He's in the queue. He will be with us. Stay with us here on Wake Up Call inside of the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, because you're about to laugh, you're about to think, you're about to have an awesome conversation with an awesome human being right after this.
Hi, this is Amy from Mother's Cupboard, home of the whole frittata. We are open daily 6 a.m. to 1:30 p.m. For takeout orders, call 315-432-0942. And tune in to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora for our monthly food challenge, and try our Wake Up Call signature menu item, available 7 days a week. Here at Mother's Cupboard, we are Central New York, and it's our honor to serve you.
Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory remind us that every day is worth celebrating at 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York. Open Monday through Saturday in-store and always online at maandpaspopcorn.com. Serving our Central New York community and beyond, order anywhere, anytime at maandpaspopcorn.com. Stop in to get a tin at Ma and Pa's on 201 7th North Street in Liverpool, New York to get your half-price refills for the rest of your life. Come to Ma and Pa's for your holiday gift giving for family, friends, employees, and clients. And remember, for fundraising and events, to call 315-450-6272. That's 315-450-6272. Ma and Pa's Kettle Corn and Popcorn Factory. How corny are you?
This is Jimmer Sikowski, owner-operator of Chick-fil-A Cicero, 7916 Brewerton Road in Cicero, right in front of the Home Depot. I had a deep feeling that God wanted me to do something bigger with my life and to help people, help others. He kept putting Chick-fil-A in my life, and I realized as I was going through the franchise selection process that positively impacting the lives of others is really core to what we do here at Chick-fil-A. First of all, it starts with the food. The food is brought in fresh daily, and we bring in local produce. we prepare to order in the kitchen. We hand bread our chicken. We hand spit our milkshakes. It's great food. It doesn't taste like fast food. I think the second thing is the way people feel when they come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. It's different. We try to treat people with intentional kindness here, which is very different and deeper than good customer service. And so I think it feels remarkable for most people to come in a Chick-fil-A restaurant. And then lastly, the impact that we try to have in the community is very different. It's a big part of the expectation of every operator of a Chick-fil-A restaurant is that they're actively engaged in their community, they're a leader in the community, and they're making a difference. When they realize that what we're striving to do is to shine a little light in their life, that's a very, very different experience than you will have in any other quick service restaurant. And it's that remarkable experience that I think people will emotionally connect with.
And a welcome back here to Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, where sports truly meets that thing called life. We appreciate you being here inside the Great Lakes Honda City studios, and I am very happy to be bringing in my next guest here, and that is Jerome Smith. Jerome Smith is here with me. Picture Jerome Smith, Syracuse Orange running back alum, and the current Bucknell Bison running backs coach. He also is a guy who knows what it's like to get 1,000 yards in a season. And I still love when I see little kids wearing number 45 around Syracuse and beyond. So with that being said, Mr. Smith is in the building. Jerome, how we doing?
Dan, what's up, bro? How we doing? It's been a while.
I know, man. It's been a minute. I'm happy that we got to do this, got to get you back here on the show. So, I mean, the most important thing is, how is life? How is family? Give me updates. Are people, our little ones getting big now? I got to know what's going on.
Man, everybody's good, man. Everybody's healthy.
Good.
Shoot, like you saying, man. Everybody's getting big. Everybody's doing what they, doing what they intended to do, man. I'm happy. I'm happy. I'm happy watching everybody develop and, grow up right in front of my eyes. But shoot, I'm busy, man. I'm busy. I'm busy in the business. So shoot, when I get a chance to sit back and, obviously be home for a little bit of time, I enjoy it, man. So it's good for me. Everybody's good. How you doing?
I'm doing well, man. I'm doing well. Just had my birthday and got to celebrate. Got to have some fun. My mom and my dad pulled off a surprise party. My mom had to the way that my mom got in touch, because she didn't have numbers to people, so she drove places. She knew where people worked, so she drove out. And are they there? They're not there that day. She goes back the next day. My mom went on social media. She found all these people. So not only did my parents surprise me, but they did it in such a way that it was man, how'd you get all these people here? And how'd you know? And all that. So I had a great birthday. I got to work on a movie.
Was it 40? Was it 40?
It's 40, yeah.
Man, congratulations.
Thank you, sir.
Congratulations, bro.
Thank you, sir. I don't know what 40 is supposed to feel like, but I feel good. And so I got to work on a movie. I can't really talk about it, but I got to work on a movie. So God knows my heart, and on my birthday, I got asked if I would be, if I could do something, and I got the confirmation, and it was one of the best experiences in my life. It unlocked, it opened up something inside. I don't want to say it unlocked because it was there, but it was a different type of excitement and happiness and energy that I had. And so I hope I get to keep doing it. I am really excited about it. I'm excited about the day I get to talk about it. So, but it was really a ton of fun. And yeah, man, I just, there's a lot of things that have been wonderful. My dog is good. So my little girl, she's great. And my little daughter, Lily. And so, yeah, she's rocking and rolling and being awesome. And, parents are good. Parents are healthy. And yeah, I mean, listen, I wake up every day and God goes, hey, that thing that makes you feel like you're in a playground? You get to do that again. So I'm very happy to do that. And, man, that we're always real on and off the air. So, I mean, the first thought when I saw your face was man, I love that guy. So, I mean, I just want to say first and foremost that
much love, man. I appreciate that.
I love you, so
yeah, man.
And that's so. I mean, there's so many things to talk about, and I'm going to start with Bucknell because Syracuse football right now is making me sad. So, but I do want to talk about what's going on in Bucknell. There's some good running backs on Syracuse. I wish they gave them the ball more. But let's talk about the Bucknell Bison and what's going on, how you became the running backs coach. I know you've been to different places. You've challenged yourself in different areas. So how did you end up at Bucknell, and then bring me into how it's been going?
Man, this spring, I just wanted to look for a new opportunity. I wanted to look for an opportunity in the Patriot League. And it was kind of, I mean, if you're familiar with the Patriot League, it's a high academic, conference. So some schools with some really, really tough qualifications to get into school, and that brought on a new challenge in recruiting. That brought on a new challenge in student athlete that you work with. So shoot, man, I was willing to take that chance. And if you're familiar with what's going on right now in the Patriot League, we're probably becoming one of the top FCS conferences in the country. William and Mary coming over next year, and Villanova will be over next year. So it's a really good conference. Obviously, we still had Holy Cross, we still had Lafayette, the Colgates and Fordhams of the world. So you still got really good programs in the conference, but you got some really good teams headed over to the conference. So that was one of the deals, obviously, for getting me over here. It was the challenge. I had been at Robert Morris for 2 years, and we had went from a 4-7 team to a 7-5 team. You've obviously done some things well. It was time to move on and, take on a new challenge for yourself.
Yeah, you said you wanted to get into the Patriot League, and you said, that this is obviously a league that's becoming really strong in the FCS and the NCAA Division I, AA. So, I mean, was that kind of the pull for you? Like, I'm seeing this league really grow into something. I'm seeing this be like a really special place where I'm going to get challenged a lot, or was there something else about the Patriot League that just commanded you to feel like, hey, I got to get over there?
Well, I think it was the overall Patriot League move in general. Like I said, it was one of those deals to get to somewhere where it's high academic student athletes, and that was kind of just a different realm than I've been in. I've been in obviously at Morgan State, and I've been at Robert Morris, where you can pretty much deal with some different GPAs. Here at Bucknell, we pretty much really can't go below a 3.3 with student athletes. Again, the talent has to match up, but also the academic component have to match up. So it's a little bit different for you. And like I said, I thought that would be a different challenge for me, and it was something that obviously. Wanting to be in this business a long time, you had to take that challenge on and learn a little bit, for right now. And obviously, later on, I found out that those teams would come to the conference and they would add those different challenges. So, obviously, looking forward to next year. We got Richmond in the conference now. So then, like I said, William and Mary and Villanova will come next year.
Yeah, I mean, what I love about this is, we talk about conference realignment, and there's people focusing on the SEC and the Big Ten and the ACC and what they're going to do in the Big 12 and whatnot. And here's the Patriot League growing and growing and growing and growing as well. And what I love about what you said is you can't have a GPA that goes under 3.3, and obviously 3.3 to 4.0, right? That's a tight window right there. But what does that do for you as a coach to know that you have that caliber of student, not just the athlete, but the student side of it? Because when you have somebody that's got to have a 3.3 or better, I push myself to always go for the 4.0 and be at the 4.0. And in my major, I was 3.93, and overall, I was 3.82. So, I mean, I definitely value all that, and I know that it takes a lot. There's personal responsibility, there's focus, there's structure, there's a lot of things you need to have. So when you're on a football team that doesn't really care about grades, you might be fighting and clawing to try and find someone to be structured, to listen, to be consistent. Do you feel like being at Bucknell, knowing that the student side is so important, that you have a better culture, a better environment where you're not essentially begging a kid to go to class, begging somebody to be structured, begging somebody to have responsibility. Do you feel like it's kind of raised the bar for who you're around right now?
I do believe that, but even as a player, we learned. I know one of the things that Coach Marone would always say is those things correlate typically. You're doing well in school, you typically going to do well on the football field. When those things start to lack, it'll probably start to show up in your football life. But I think one of the things that you get as a coach is you gotta be really tight. You gotta be really sharp when your student athletes are sharp. When they enjoy learning and they enjoy studying and they enjoy the whole teaching mechanism, you got to be tight as a teacher because they'll be able to be able to figure out when you don't know what you're talking about, or they'll ask you questions. It makes you really detailed as a coach.
Yeah.
Like I said, it keeps you sharp because it's some of those questions that they're willing to ask that some kids may not be willing to ask.
So, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. Do you feel like you've had to brush up on your math? Do you feel like you've had to look at current events and history and whatnot? I mean, do you have somebody come up to you and say, hey, Coach Smith, we learned this at school today. They start talking about all this stuff. And you're like, man, I gotta go home. I got to spend some time looking at the film. And then I got to spend some time online, looking up the, Vietnam War so I could talk to this running back I got tomorrow. I mean, do you feel like it's pushed you to challenge yourself academically even to this day after being a student?
Yeah, man, you got to keep, like I said, you got to keep the game tight. I got a guy right now. He can identify each country by just the shape. Each country, any country. And Dan, I went down about 60 countries because when people told me about it, I couldn't believe it.
Yeah.
The kid told me, I got photographic memory, coach. I remember these since sixth grade. So shoot, man. When you got guys who, sharp like that, you got to stay up.
I'm going to hit you with something if you'll let me do it, because you talk about sixth grade. I can name every single president in order, starting with the first one. Do you want to hear it?
Yeah, hold on. Let me make sure I got. Yeah, I'm gonna make sure I got a list out in front of me though. I'm gonna make sure you ain't trying to just tell me something.
No, you fact check.
Believe you. Yeah, yeah, man. I had to fact check him.
Yeah, so make sure when you get that up there on your screen, then I will do it. And I got nothing I'm looking at. I got nothing on my screen. Hand to God.
Perfect. I'm ready.
I got a picture of Jesus next to me, and I'm gonna hold this picture so y'all know I'm not lying. Okay?
You're gonna need him here.
Because God is good. Here we go. Washington, Adams, Jefferson, Madison, Monroe, John Quincy Adams, Jackson, Van Buren, William Henry Harrison, Tyler, Polk, Taylor, Fillmore, Pierce, Buchanan, Lincoln, A. Johnson, Grant, Hayes, Garfield, Arthur, Cleveland, B. Harrison, Cleveland, McKinley, T. Roosevelt, Taft, Wilson, Harding, Coolidge, Hoover, FDR, Truman, Eisenhower, Kennedy, L.B. Johnson, Nixon, Ford, Carter, Reagan, Bush, Clinton, Bush, Obama, Trump, Biden, Trump.
That's good. That's good, man. That's sweet right there, baby.
And that is my 8th grade social studies teacher from Christian Brothers Academy. And I got a photographic memory too, so I can see her in my head right now. God bless her, because she is the reason why. I guess that's like a party trick, but people are like, man, you can't name every president. I said, bet money.
So there you go, man. You got something you can hold on, man. That dude knows shapes of the countries. You got the dang on presidents.
Yeah, there we go. What do you got, Jerome? What can you give us today?
Man, I can tell you how to read inside zone. I'll tell you some football stuff.
All right, so I want you to do that.
I learned that at a young age.
Yeah, so I want you to do that right now. I want you to pick something, and I want you to teach my audience something football related on reading a play, because you turn on Madden and people see all those things and we're like, I know what receiver I'm going to, I know what I'm doing, and they're not really even reading. And if you're like me growing up, like, I didn't know a lot about football growing up. I played basketball, so when they showed me all the defenses, I just randomly picked stuff. So now I want you to teach somebody something that's watching and listening right now.
Teach somebody something that's watching and listening.
Yeah,
all right, cool.
Football.
Cool. All right, we'll read out power. We'll read out power. So the way we read power out, we read it A gap. We read it A gap out. If the A gap's closed, we get to the next gap, which is the B gap. If the B gap's closed, we get to the C gap, and we get to the D gap. We read it A gap out.
Okay. So for somebody that's sitting here going, like, if there's somebody watching, listening, they go, I have no idea what an A gap is. I have no idea what a B gap is. Break it down even more.
All right, here we go. Right, the A gap is between the guard and the center. The B gap is between the guard and tackle.
Yeah.
C gap between the tackle and the tight end. And then outside of that is the D gap outside the tight end typically.
Yeah, so we're going outside the tight end. So when you look at that, so I'm writing it down so people can kind of get a feel for it. So between the guard and the center is the A gap when you talk about run and power. So between the guard and the center is the A gap, between the guard and the tackle is the B gap, and then between the tackle and tight end is the C gap, and then outside the tight end is the
D gap.
All right, so folks, like, essentially you're looking at something like this, and I know that I put one guard on the other side. But when you're taking a look at when you're running power, you're either going to go through the hole that's created between the guard and the center, the guard and the tackle and the tight end, or outside of the tight end. And those are the 4 different ways to run power from A to D. You just taught something, and you made it so easy, Jerome. So, I mean, shout out to you.
Yeah, man. When you've done it, you typically can use the experience, and experience usually helps you out a little bit. That way you can simplify it for people.
So I'm going to ask you this. As a running back and as a 1,000-yard single-season rusher, what gap did you have the most success in your opinion, at Syracuse?
Definitely the A gap. Definitely the A and B gap. Yeah. I was more of a downhill runner, so I had more success in those A and B gaps.
And when you...
It's a little bit tougher in those A and B gaps rather than getting out to the C and D gaps. It's a little bit tougher.
Yeah,
it all works, but it's tough sledding in that A and B gap.
Yeah, because what you're doing is you're essentially... the definition of what it is, you're powering through the interior of the line as opposed to bouncing outside. So powering through that line, share with people that don't know, because I know you had an awesome line. You had great guys on it. So when you were going between the guard and the center or the guard and the tackle, bring me into who you had blocking for you.
Oh, man, I had center, I had Mackie McPherson. Right guard, I had Rob Trudeau. Right tackle, I had everybody from Sean Hickey to Lou Alexander. Tight end, I had Provo, I had Beckett Wells. I had some pretty good guys blocking up front here.
Yeah, you definitely did.
The left A gap, or left side, we had Zach Shabane. We had Justin Pugh, so I've been fortunate.
Yeah, you had guys that, I mean, in the case of Justin Pugh, right, a long time in the NFL. So to say, right, and a first rounder, and I know I've mentioned this before, but I think about this, and I will, God willing, I mean, my memory will stay strong my whole life. And this is a moment, if I'm going to remember moments about you, Jerome, there's ones that are very easy. And I always say to you when I call you 3 words, Jerome, because you and I would talk for a long time, and then the media would swarm you and the cameras would go on and you'd give really short answers, and you'd be dead serious. Like, as soon as you saw the lights go on, you're like this, and then the camera will go off and you're like, "What's up, Dan?" So we have a different relationship. And so that's one thing I remember about you. The other thing I remember about you is when you were being honored in a post-game press conference and they brought you up on stage, and you walked up on stage and there was no like sitting down and this and that. Like, it was just like a platform, and you had you mentioned these guys that you just talked about. You had your offensive line stand behind you, and you stood up there and people were just taking pictures because you refused to go up there and be honored without honoring them. And I don't even know if you even talked about yourself when you were up there that day. Not much.
Yeah, no, man. At a young age, I learned that those other people make that thing happen for you. You obviously been gifted and have a talent, but without the guys up front, opening up the holes. You're not going to be a very good running back without those guys. And it took some learning and development. We hung out in the summertime. We went out to eat together. I paid for a couple of those guys' dinners. We had some running back and O-line dinners that we hung out with.
Yeah.
So, man, we earned the right, and those guys did a really good job putting up with me. I wasn't always fun. Always wasn't fun to deal with on the sideline. But those guys did a really good job with me, and I was, like I said, man, I'm fortunate to play with some of those guys.
How much did those meals cost, Jerome?
Pretty penny for a college student. It wasn't NIL. It was coming out of my pocket.
I was going to say, you probably had to wash some dishes in the back to try and make sure you're feeding these offensive linemen.
It was coming out of my Christmas money.
Yeah, so, hey, so just so y'all know, to the family members of Jerome Smith, if some nieces and nephew or like whoever out there, if y'all didn't get cousins, aunts, uncles, if you didn't get something from Jerome a few years ago, it was because he was paying for some offensive linemen and they don't eat light. So, Jerome.
Yeah, absolutely.
So, Jerome, for you, when you reflect on those moments, you said you weren't always easy on the sideline. Why?
Yeah. Just the competitive side. Wanting to get after it and, wanting to have success. And sometimes you're young and you haven't developed. I never understood one of the things that Coach Wheatley had gave us was guys usually pick up things their junior year. And maybe my younger years, I hadn't picked it up yet. You wanted the success. But, like I said, those guys worked with me and we had the success we had. We had 1,000-yard seasons. We had bowl game years. So it all worked out.
Yeah. And seeing the success that you had and the hard work that you put in and just how dedicated you were to your craft and how you came up and how you grew. I mean, there was success, obviously, in the history of Syracuse running backs, and you look at an Antoine Bailey, right? And then we see you come in and do your thing. I've talked to him about this. I've talked to you about this. I think the next guy that should have been in line and should have gotten the ball because he really didn't do much wrong with it was Adonis Amin Moore. And then we keep going it forward from there. I mean, when you look back and you look at Syracuse history, and you don't just look behind you at Ernie Davis and Jerome Smith and Larry Zonka and Floyd Little, who obviously you got to spend some time with, and so on and so forth, but you look forward and you look after you to Sean Tucker, to LaQuint Allen Jr., to a Yasin Willis right now. So what can you say about Syracuse history before you and what you think about Syracuse history after you, which includes the single season all-time leader in rushing yards in Sean Tucker, who was an undrafted rookie, made it to the Bucs, got on the 53-man roster, and has now played for 3 straight years. The Bucs have not let him go, and he just played most recently, and he may be playing again this week.
Yeah. Oh, well, man, you obviously see the history in running backs. You see the tradition that we have in the running back room. Obviously, you talked about the past, and that was one of the things that got me here was the tradition of the three, the big three. Obviously, people miss out on obviously the Jims and the Floyd and Ernie's, but shoot, man, Larry Zonka's, you know what I'm saying? So, you know what I'm saying? So it's a ton of guys down that list that you can go. Joe Morris of the world, that you go down the list, and it's constantly you can look back and see how many running backs came from there, and then you start looking toward the future and you start seeing the guys we've had recently. Like you said, the Sean Tuckers, the Quint Allens, obviously watching him, been a big fan of him since he was a player there. And now watching Willis, man, huge fan of him and Nixon. Love the way Nixon blocks. He blocks his tail off out there in the backfield. So when I do have a chance to obviously peek at it, I'm locked in on what the running backs are doing. And
Yeah, so what I wanted to kind of get into here was looking at the running backs that are there. I mean, they have guys that are going to be working potentially toward the future. They have a Tyreek Hill, they have a Jaden Hart, and of course we both mentioned Yasin Willis and Will Nixon, who I love talking to, is a big Spider-Man fan. So him and I have some awesome conversations. And then there's a guy that is so very good, and he's gone through injury, and he's incredibly talented, and he would be a huge loss if Syracuse doesn't have him in the future, is Malachi James. So, I mean, there's a lot to be said about this. I do want to ask you this question, though, about the guys that we have seen the most of, and that's Yasin Willis and Will Nixon. Do you see NFL caliber in either or both, and why?
I think they both got the potential. I think they both get an opportunity at the NFL. I think obviously both those guys are bigger guys. Those guys are bigger physical guys, and when you bring that component to the next level, I think you got a chance ultimately. Being able to run and hit, that's what they want to see in the NFL. I think both of those dudes can run and hit, and they're not afraid to. So I think right there they carry an attribute that gives them an opportunity to be successful at that next level. I think they both do. Obviously we don't use Willis as much as I would like to in the passing game, but it's because you got a freaking older guy there who's a really good pass protector in Nixon, and also a really good pass catcher. So he answers that bell. But Willis has time. I think he has the time to get into that role, to catch the ball a little bit more, show his pass pro a little bit more. But you see that from Will Nixon. He invites it. I like guys like Will Nixon.
Yeah, no, talent from both, and between the two of them, got in the end zone 7 times so far this season. Obviously more with Angeli, and 4 touchdowns rushing for Yasin Willis and 4 on the ground for Will Nixon. And Yasin Willis had 3 touchdowns against Tennessee of the SEC in that first game that was that we say neutral at the Aflac kickoff in Mercedes-Benz Stadium, but that was 95% Tennessee, and he still got 3 touchdowns in that game. Looking at the offense, Jerome, I'd love to get your thoughts. I mean, you're a former player. You had some work in the NFL. You had some opportunity with the Atlanta Falcons, and so, I mean, when I think about what you were able to do, how hard you worked, how dedicated you are, and coming from a place where you probably had a chip on your shoulder because there wasn't a lot of focus on, taking guys out of your area and whatnot, and you definitely made a name for yourself. Now you're coaching running backs. How do you assess Syracuse's offense? If you take away a defensive touchdown by Anwar Sparrow within the last couple of weeks, which is against North Carolina, if you take that away, Syracuse has, I'll give them the extra point after that touchdown. So they have 64 points scored in 6 weeks. They're averaging less than 11 points on offense per game. And the defense has gotten better. The defense has risen its ability. They've gotten to the quarterback, Demetrius Samuel, and some of the young guys have shown out, Antoine Delorier and whatnot. We've seen David Reese elevate himself coming in as a transfer. But this offense is quiet. I have my thoughts. I have my scheming that I would have done if I was Jeff Nixon, the offensive coordinator. But I don't want to load the question by saying what I would have done. I want to know what you think about the offense and maybe what you would do as an offensive side of the ball coach.
Oh man, I think it's awesomely hard when you got injuries and you got some young guys playing. I don't really think it has anything to do with schematics at that point. It's got to do with the experience, and obviously, Coach Brown did some of the things he needed to do to move stuff around on the staff to, kind of get the fire going. But I do think there's a thing to, being a youthful team. Being a young team has something to it. Again, man, we play a physical sport, a contact sport, to where the size, the weight, the experience has a little bit more value versus other sports, in my opinion. So I love what they do because, shoot, we were all fans of it last year when Kyle was dunking the ball down the field, and Quint was running all over the place. So I think the scheme works. We've shown that we've been shown that the scheme works. I think we just gotta get healthy, and like I said, those young guys will turn into old guys, and some of those drop passes or some of those reads will become easier. I think we'll be fine now.
Yeah, I mean, I looked at, if I'm Jeff Nixon, and I know he likes to throw the ball, but if I'm Jeff Nixon, who I respect and I always love my time with,
that guy.
Yeah, I'm thinking in my head, I'm going, you got Yasin and you got Will, so if you're struggling to pass the ball and these quarterbacks, are maybe not making great decisions, why not RPO this thing? Why not use Ricky's legs? Is that something that you think maybe could, I mean, they got a couple games to play. Is that something on your mind of saying like, hey, Yasin and Will are huge, awesome opportunities for you. Dan Villari's been good in the Wildcat. He can throw, he can catch, he can run. So do they maybe just say, heck, we got a couple more games and we know Dan Villari's finishing up his career. So let's rock with him. Let's rock with power, and let's just systematically back you into your own end zone slowly but surely. Do you think that at this point maybe just lean on the run and be that old style Syracuse, which has tough defense and just rams the ball more than they pass it?
I haven't watched every game. That's where I'll tell you that I haven't had a chance to watch every game. I'm too busy in my own world right now. Yeah. But what I will say, obviously, I do believe those guys are going to do what it takes to win games. I do think if there was an RPO, to call, I do believe they would have made the call already, because I know, everybody wants to win. I don't think guys are, game planning to lose, because I know how hard it is to be on that other side when you're game planning. But I do think, they'll go to what works. Obviously, like you said, Villari, and I watched Villari in the bowl game do some of that Wildcat stuff and, be able to end the year off like that. We'll see what they got moving forward. Maybe Collins picks it up, or whoever we got going this week, maybe they pick it up and start to get some success going, and this thing will carry over into next year for them.
Yeah, hoping for the best for Syracuse as we step forward. Jerome Smith, as always, sir, we get to end our conversation by playing some rapid fire, so you get to ask the first question. What do you got for me?
Syracuse bowl game team next year.
It depends if Steve Angeli's healthy. It depends if he stays. It depends if there's not a mass exodus. So there's guys that I kind of don't necessarily feel like are going to be here, and they're going to have to make up. Yeah. So they're going to have to make up for that. And yeah, so I think it's a big old question mark, and they got to, schedule's not going to be easy. So I want to say yes. I mean, I thought a healthy Syracuse team going in this year was 8-4. So, okay. I would like to hope for yes, but it's a lot of how many names are in the portal and who are those names, and Steve being healthy. So I want to cautiously, optimistically say yes, but there's a lot of ifs that are going into that. My question back to you, Rome. If you ever had the opportunity in your career to come back and coach at Syracuse, what position would you want to coach? What job would you want to have? I know you like to challenge yourself. So are you a coordinator? Are you running backs coach? What are you doing? Like, what would be the job?
I don't even know if it would take a certain type of job. I just think Syracuse is my dream job. I love Syracuse. Obviously, I loved it as a player. I loved it coming back to it as an alum. It's just one of those places got a unique feeling, man. I love the snow. That may be crazy to say at this age, but shoot, man, I love the snow. I love the weather. I love the toughness of the city. It's a one of a kind place.
Yeah, you
It's a
know,
unique place, man.
well, and you talk about, I mean, you come from Bear, Delaware, you know,
Yeah,
and but you're one of them bears that don't hibernate, so that's
yeah,
that's a good thing. What's
yeah.
your
I love the area.
what's your and I love that you talked about the strength in the fight because that's my hometown. So thank you for that. I'm happy that
Yeah,
you see that.
that place, good wings.
Yeah. So what do you got for good wings? He says too. What's your next question for me?
All right, next question. Next question.
Yes, sir.
Willis or Nixon?
Those are my guys, man.
Yeah, you gotta have a favorite.
Those are my guys, man. Oh boy, that's tough. All right, y'all might be watching and listening to this, and I love y'all both, and so I'm gonna say that because that's real. Also, I do want to preface with this because I talked about this last night. So I said to Yasin Willis, I was like, I know you're laughing because you think I'm being political, but I'm not. I'm having fun. So Yasin, I asked him this season early on. I said everybody's got nicknames. You know, when you got two running backs, y'all got nicknames. I said Thunder and Lightning and whatnot. So I said, who are you guys? And you can go watch it on my YouTube channel. It's on my Syracuse football playlist. It's on there on youtube.com/wakeupcalldt. But I said to him, who are you? And he looked back and goes, Batman and Robin. I said, Batman and Robin? He said, yeah, Batman and Robin. He said, you know, I'm Batman. I'm going through the cut, you know, like hit you hard. And then he said, and then, you know, we got Robin over here who's like a little bit quiet, but he still like gets the thing done. And within a few weeks, would you say?
I said, no doubt. Yeah.
So within a few weeks of us having that conversation, he, on his Instagram story, because we're connected on social media, on his story, he had Christian Bale when he was playing Bruce Wayne, and he's like, he's looking at the ground and he's in front of his bat suit. And so I wrote to him and I was like, man, I'm so happy that you're embracing what you said, that like he really does. Like we had that conversation about him being Batman and now he's been living in that world. So, man, if I had to choose between Will Nixon and Yasin Willis, I'm gonna give a slight edge right now to Yasin because I see him in the NFL more so right now than I see Will, but I want them both to get in, and Yasin's got time and Will's finishing up his time, so I hope Will gets it. And pass pro is really important for a running back and catching the ball out of the backfield, so he does a lot of good things. But if you're making me choose, I'm gonna give a slight edge to Yasin. Will, don't kill me for that. So that's
Batman.
Yeah, I'm going with Batman. So all right, Rome.
Yeah, come on.
Let me hit you with something here. Who's your favorite broadcaster of all time?
Dan Tortora. That's easy.
Yeah, don't lie to me.
That's easy. That's easy. My man DT, man, that's easy. Okay. That's an easy answer. And obviously, you know, I've been watching Chris Berman since I was a kid. I've been watching during Mike Tirico. I'm going with DT, man. If I got a favorite, I'm going with my guy.
Man, that very kind of you. Very kind of you.
It's easy.
Well, I appreciate that. That's very nice of you. So I don't even know what to say to that. It's an honor. It's a privilege, and I thank you. You got one more question.
Take the compliment and roll, man. That's easy.
Yeah, well, I appreciate it. What's your last question for me?
Last question. Jaguars gonna finish up strong here?
This team that made me so angry.
They could be really good, man. Holy cow.
I know. And, you know, like, yeah, Travis Hunter's out and he's a rookie and he does different things. But you know, it's this defense was like, they started out number one in takeaways in the country. And then they give up 26 unanswered points in the fourth quarter to a backup quarterback. And I'm not taking away from Davis Mills because I like Davis Mills. I'm just saying it's like it's not even C.J. Stroud and they're giving up almost 30 points and losing the game. But then they beat the Kansas City Chiefs. It's like and then they in overtime, beat the Raiders on the road. So, I mean, I want to say they're going to finish strong. I want to believe that. But, I mean, the Colts are extremely good. The Patriots are extremely good. The Bills, they're going to be around. Ravens, hopefully Lamar stays healthy, and they're going to be around with that. By the way, one of the only people that said Lamar was going to be a good quarterback in the NFL, because when I said that, I was crickets. But I remember saying it, and I just had that feeling like people probably think I'm stupid right now, but that's all right. And then because a lot of people were against him, which was crazy. But feet to the fire. The Texans, listen, they just lost to the Texans, so you're not helping yourself. The Titans are not great in any stretch of the imagination, unfortunately, and I'm hoping that Cam Ward and the team can get it together for the future. But they did fire Mike Vrabel, which is a massive mistake, and he's been great for New England. So I thought New England should have hired him 2 years ago. They listened to me a year later, and best team in the AFC. But if they're going to make it, it's going to be like the 7th spot. So I think they're going to be just out of it, Jerome, but I'm happy to see that they've pleasantly surprised me. They're more like, I think maybe the culture is getting better because it was bad, but I don't know if they're going to make it this year. They might be just outside. And then my last question for Jerome Smith. Food that you miss the most from Syracuse and why?
Delmonico's.
What did you get? What did you eat there?
The Delmonico steak. The Delmonico steak, the calamari. I can't wait to get back. I can't wait to get back to a Delmonico steak and calamari.
How about
Obviously, most people gonna say dinosaur. Every time I get back, I get dinosaur. I was back for a summer camp at Syracuse had a summer camp this past summer, and I made sure I stopped at Dinosaur before I left town. But there's a Delmonico steak waiting for me.
Let me say this to you: when you come back, you let me know. You and I will go to Delmonico's.
Oh man, that's major. Yeah, we'll definitely hit it up.
That's what we're doing. We're going to Delmonico's. So
yeah, I'll figure out when I get some free time. I'll let you know when I'll be coming through town.
Yeah, you got some games to win and things to do with the Bucknell Bison. What do you want to say? Final note from you, Jerome. What do you want to say to the world about Bucknell football? What you want to say about what you've done, what you're working to do, and anything that you want to share with the community that's supported this team throughout the season so far, knowing that you got a couple more matchups that are waiting for you here against Holy Cross and Colgate at the time we're talking.
Yeah, well, shoot, man, the hay's never in the barn. We're just going to keep working. That's going to be our goal these next 2 weeks. We'll take it a week at a time, and our goal is to go 1-0 in the Patriot League each week. So, shoot, that's all we're going to do.
Coming from Jerome Smith. It always goes by so fast, and I never know how to say goodbye, so I won't. I will say see you soon.
Man, see you later, brother.
I'm looking forward to Delmonico's, so I love you, brother.
For sure, man. Appreciate you. Much love.
All right, I'll talk to you soon.
Yes, sir.
That coming once again from Jerome Smith, the running backs coach of the Bucknell Bison inside the Patriot League and Syracuse Orange alum. We will take a step aside. Like I told you, we only took one fast break today because I want you to have the content. I don't like when I'm listening to a show on the radio or watching something and it's just commercials to the point where it's like, all right, I'm just going to leave the room. I'm going to go downstairs. I'm going to make some cereal. I'm going to do something else. Or, if I turn you off, turn you back on, turn you off, turn you back on, and it's still on commercial, it's like, oh my goodness. So we're different here at Wake Up Call. We have fast breaks, right? We want you to have the content. We love the partners that we work with, and you hear from them during the show. But we don't make the breaks excessive, and we give you plenty of content. I promise you 2 hours every Monday through Friday morning. We've gone over 2 hours and we've only taken one break. With other places, they promise you an hour and there's 47 minutes of content, or there's 40 minutes of content and there's 20 minutes, or there's 30 and 30. I remember one time I was saying, if we run, if I run all these commercials, do all this stuff, I'm talking for a half an hour, want to break. Well, that's what I said about sitcoms. That sitcoms have become 15 minutes of commercials and 15 minutes of actual show. It used to be like 2010, 22:8. So I do believe that when you're doing your show, and yes, you have to take commercial breaks, and yes, you have to get to your partners, and I love my partners here, but you don't sacrifice content. You do both. So let's take that break.
Here's a message from Renee from Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York. Open Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and Sundays for brunch.
It's a lot like the way that my mom and dad ran their restaurant. We have put in place a lot of people that are family to us, very similar to how my dad hired people that were family to him. And then the tradition I'm carrying on is a lot of the items that are on our menu are my dad's. And he taught our chefs how to recreate his dishes. So I think that Tommy McNerney, who our executive chef is, to him it is an art. And I think that when he does create a dish, it's not just about making the food taste delicious, which is definitely our priority, but it's an art to him, and it's almost like his canvas on a plate where he just wants the colors to look great, and people love it because he takes pride in that. And Bryan and I appreciate that. We want it to obviously look good and taste good. I will tell you, when we opened up, it was 6 weeks before COVID. And what was amazing was the community, our friends and family stepped up, and everybody did takeout. Everybody supported us. Our hearts were just so filled. So to Bryan and I, obviously our friends come all the time, and we just have repeat customers in Jamesville, and I think people going to our previous restaurant in Green Lakes are making the trip to come to Bryan's Landing to support us. And I mean, I think we have great food and a great atmosphere. So it's very, very important to us.
Head to Bryan's Landing, located on 6523 East Seneca Turnpike in Jamesville, New York, where memories have become recipes that are now meals to share with you. Tuesdays and Wednesdays for dinner, Thursday through Saturday for lunch and dinner, and on Sundays for brunch. And be sure to come out for live music Friday, Saturday, and Sunday. Life gets busy, and sometimes that means us running around. So K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare offers you an opportunity to give your dog a place to stay while you take care of what you need to throughout the day. K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare is located on 228 Old Bridge Street in East Syracuse, New York. You can see it from the highway, and it's just off of Erie Boulevard across from BJ's Wholesale Club. Call 315-437-7110. That's 315-437-7110 to schedule an appointment to bring your dog in and tour the facility. Appointments are Monday through Thursday after 6:30, where you and your dog can see everything that K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare has to offer, including a self-serve dog wash and a retail store filled with all of your dog's wants and needs, including food, treats, harnesses, leashes, and more, making K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare your one-stop shop for your furry loving friend. Right, Lily? Avicoli's restaurant, located on 7839 Oswego Road in Liverpool, New York, has been serving our community for decades. Your place to go for home cooking on the corner of Route 57 and Wetzel Road is just minutes from Liverpool High School. And every single month, Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora is on site, on location, with Liverpool sports, student athletes, coaches, and administration telling their stories throughout the year. We look forward to seeing you on site at Avicoli's for their casual pizza side, their fine dining, as well as their bar. And of course, you can order online at myavicolis.com. That's myAVICOLLIS.com. For takeout, delivery, and catering, call 315-622-5100. That's 315-622-5100. Come on in to the neighborhood spot Avicoli's, open 7 days a week in Liverpool, New York. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is your home away from home for your furry-loving friends. Open 7 days a week with drop-off and pickup times in the morning and later on in the day and early evening. K-9 Campground Dog Boarding is the spot to trust with your dog for short and long-term stays. Call 315-299-4013 for more information. That's 315-299-4013, and go to K9campground.com as well. That's K9, KAMP, ground.com, where you will find all of the information on their different cabins, which include the classic cabin, executive cabin, grand cabin, and luxury cabin. K9 Campground Dog Boarding, where your dog will have indoor and outdoor areas as well as their own private cabin for any size, any breed, as well as dogs with different needs. Dog parents and dogs alike choose K9 Campground Dog Boarding. Isn't that right, Lily? Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes. In these unique times, there are those in our community that give us a sense of normalcy and positivity. Pizza Man on 50 Oswego Street in Baldwinsville has been here for you for over 35 years and is here now. Call 315-638-1234 or order online at pizzamanbville.com to bring those familiar tastes into your home. And remember to come see our monthly on-site broadcasts centered around the community and our Baldwinsville bees. Pizza Man in Baldwinsville. Any way you slice it, they are always here for you. Looking for your next ride? Look no further than Great Lakes Honda City, located on 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Serving our community for decades, their new and pre-owned vast array of vehicles are available to you Monday through Saturday on site. To search from home, shop at GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Call 315-365-5576 to set up an appointment. That's 315-365-5576 for Great Lakes Honda City, 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Great cars, great people, Great Lakes.
All right, you need to come out here and get yourself the Brooklyn Pickle. I was talking about this with one of my buddies. I was like, yo, there's no better sandwich in the state of New York than the Brooklyn Pickle. And now that I found out that they're going down to North Carolina, we are taking over your taste buds everywhere you are, wherever you're going to be. You need to get yourself out to the Brooklyn Pickle. Pinehurst, you just realized that you found yourself the best sandwich shop that you're ever going to have. This is a glorious moment. It's a blessing to your community. You're welcome. Brooklyn in the house, baby. Go over to the Brooklyn Pickle. You already know what it is.
You heard the man. Head to Brooklyn Pickle Pinehurst on 1788 Old Morgantown Road in Southern Pines, North Carolina. And now a message from Myers Creek Brewing Company, with locations at their Cazenovia Farm Brewery, Syracuse Inner Harbor Tap Room, and soon-to-be Lake Placid Tap Room.
Well, I think first and foremost, the Feldmeyer family and our team are extremely passionate about what we do. We care very much about what we do. The Feldmeyer family is always investing. Our taproom management team, our brew management team, our marketing management team, and all of the team members that get after it every day, they leave it on the field. They put their heart and soul into it. I know for a fact that everyone that works at Myers Creek wants to be there, and we want them to be there. You know, we want them to feel good about their job. And again, if you've never been to a Myers Creek, especially to the brewery, I mean, I want your eyes to open really big. I want you to see how big of a brand this is. I want you to see where we're going. The sky is the limit, and I feel very proud of that, and I'm very excited about that. When you think of designing a menu for a brewery, it's kind of open to a lot of different interpretations. I mean, you can do American, you can do Asian, you can do Italian, and you just have to find, you know, how that meets that pub style dining experience, that gastropub vibe. And I think it's super fun for us because obviously we know that, you know, everyone in the world's gonna sell a pizza or a burger or a french fry, but what can we do to be different? And what can we do to be true to who we are? We are a brewery, you know, a brew pub. So the flavor profiles are kind of all over the place, and I think it's super cool that we have a massive smoker at the brewery in Cazenovia, and we smoke a lot of our products. A delicious smoked turkey. We have barbecue ribs on Sundays, from a pulled pork sandwich to a chicken wing. You go to the Inner Harbor and you go to the Caz location and you'll find similarities in the menu, but also things that are a little different and also kind of fit those different demographics or different communities, and also hopefully just drive you to try every tap room that we have open at some point, because you get a little something different at each one. You know, we understand how hard it is to, you know, work every day and get after it every day, and when you're done at the end of your day, you want to go out and put your feet up in a good ambiance and good environment. So we take pride in that. We make sure that everyone knows that they're very much valued to us.
This is Jim Dispenza, owner of Game Point Sports Complex. You hear the same story across any sport that kids play and any sport that adults play. There's never enough places to play. That was definitely true with volleyball, definitely true with basketball. It could be cheerleading, it could be field hockey, which is what we're seeing now. Every sport has a lack of places to play, and I think Syracuse in particular is a place where it's really bad. Despite the fact that we've got a lot of athletic talent around here, we just seem to have not enough places for people to play, and they're going to different places. They're going to Rochester, they're going to, you know, Buffalo. They're going all different places because we don't have a place here, and I felt like that should change. This was a long project, from planning all the way through execution to opening the doors. A lot of work went into it, obviously a lot of money, a lot of resources, and the dream always was kids being in the gym, having a good time. And I've always felt like sports is the most unfiltered joy that you can observe with people, that people can experience, because it is fun, it is a sense of accomplishment, it's all of that wrapped into one thing. And so watching kids going up and down the court with big smiles on their faces has been just amazing experience. I'm looking forward to years to come of that same thing. We've taken the time to invest in multiple sports, and then what we're finding is the mere fact that we have a large, clean, well-lit space has opened a lot more doors for us beyond basketball, volleyball, pickleball. Now we're having some interest from cheerleading. We've got girls field hockey coming in, and then also there's quite a bit of room for spectators. We've got bleachers, we've got benches, we've got a concession lounge where people can get food and drinks. We're going to have multiple sports going at the same time, using every square inch of this place for what it was conceived for, which is basically people to come in, have a good time in the sport that they prefer. We manage each situation differently. You know, everybody has different ability to afford different things. Some are bringing 10, 15 people, some are just 2 people. I've had a lot of situations where it's a father shooting around with his son, it's a mother playing pickleball with her daughter or with her son, and in those situations come up and we work with people, and that's allowed us to have groups from 2 people up to 30 people and have some flexible pricing behind it. We're an organization that is here to work with the community community any way we can, and I guess part of it is just making sure that we have the flexibility to put together a plan that makes sense regardless of the size of your group. So in order to book time, the best option is to go to our website, gamepointsports-syr.com. You can click from there and sign up for events, sign up for your own particular training, sign up for birthday parties, all of that.
Carvel DeWitt, it's what happy tastes like. Do you know why? Because we make ice cream. Creamy, rich, flavorful ice cream. Not yogurt or iced milk like some of our competitors. Ice cream. Fresh, by hand, daily. For the calorie conscious, we have something new for you. Our new Carvelite. Same great flavor, creaminess, and texture of our regular ice cream with only 35 calories an ounce. So whether you want an ice cream cake, flying saucer, dasher, carvelange, hard or soft ice cream, we will satisfy your craving with our fresh, handmade regular or new Carvelite ice cream. Carvel DeWitt. It's what happy tastes like.
The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is located on 3680 Milton Avenue in the Home Depot Plaza. It is your family-friendly sports bar and restaurant. Folks, some sports bars aren't family-friendly. Some family-friendly restaurants are not sports bars. The Wildcat Sports Pub in Camillus, New York is proud to be both. It is that marriage that you've been looking for years. The Wildcat Sports Pub is your home base for your sports bar and restaurant needs, games for the kids, indoor and outdoor activities, and enough things on the menu to come back every single week and get to try something new. They're open Sundays from noon to 8 p.m., Monday through Wednesday, 11 a.m. to 11 p.m., and Thursday through Saturday from 11 a.m. to midnight. For reservations and party information, call 315-487-2222 for the Wildcat family-friendly sports pub and restaurant.
GG Cards and Breaks. Like, comment, subscribe.
GG Cards and Breaks comes to you on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York, and they are open for sale for you today for sales Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, Sunday from 10 to 5. Make sure you make your way out to GG Cards and Breaks. We'd appreciate seeing you out there, and you know, I tell you all the time that going out there, it helps you keep your big kid spirit alive and just gives you those big kid moments, right? You're that spirit of just whimsy and excitement. You get to find the players that you love and the teams that you love, hopefully, and play the games that you love and so on and so forth. And it all happens at GG Cards and Breaks. And yesterday we were having trade night, and Josh Gideon, the owner of GG Cards and Breaks, he looked at me and he said, you know, it warms his heart when people say, you know, these really wonderful things about everything that he's pouring his heart and soul into. And when we were having the conversation about it, he said to me that this person that had come up to him that him and I got to meet last night, Nate, you know, he was talking to him about, hey, you know how you always talk about your kid spirit and all that. He's like, well, you know, he just said something like that to me. So I know that you feel it. I know that you're experiencing it. And I'd love for you all to go out and experience it if you haven't yet. Going to GG Cards and Breaks, it's like walking in there at whatever age you are, and all of a sudden you're a kid again. Or maybe you're a kid right now, right? And you just walk through those doors and you get that feeling. You get that kind of positive chill over your shoulders, and you just feel different when you're there. It's a wonderful place filled with wonderful people working very hard to keep that fun thing, right? That thing that so many of us like to do in our lives. And they had trade night at the Wildcat last night, and it was massive. It was packed. There were people everywhere. There was barely anywhere to put my stuff in a good way. So I just want to thank y'all for supporting GG Cards and Breaks, supporting the Wildcat, going to GG Cards and Breaks trade night at the Wildcat, which has been every other month. And I'm happy to work with both, and I'm happy to have brought these two awesome places together. GG Cards and Breaks, make sure you go and visit them on 639 Delmar Place in Syracuse, New York. Open Tuesday through Saturday from 10 to 6, and on Sundays from 10 to 5. And a big time shout out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. You could go and find them on the corner of Bridge and Erie Boulevard. They had to put, this is the great thing about Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, they had to go out there and put a new light, a light that never existed because of all the people that get out to Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. On the corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard, the double drive-through, the giant brick building, plenty of room inside, and of course, you can order on the app and you can order catering from Chick-fil-A in DeWitt. You can get more information by going to wakeupcalldt.com, clicking on this logo that you're seeing on your screen right now, the Chick-fil-A Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard logo. That'll bring you straight to their website, and you can find everything you need right there, including their times that they are open. Of course, they're closed on Sundays in honor of our Lord and Savior. So, Chick-fil-A DeWitt, make sure you head out there today. Let them know that DT sent you and enjoy some awesome stuff. The pretzel cheddar clubs are gone, but there's other cool things that just came back. So, get out for your favorites. Get out for the originals that you love, and get out for all the stuff that's coming around the holidays here. Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, corner of Bridge Street and Erie Boulevard. We'll see you out there. With that being said, here on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, I want to thank you for being a part of the show today, as you always are. Just by watching and listening, you do so much to help the show get out there, to spread the word about positivity, about the wonderful people I get to have on the show, the segments we do, about our community, about the wonderful businesses that I have the blessing and honor by the grace of God and these wonderful people to work with. And, you know, we get to spread this love and comedy and deep conversation and real talk. So thank you to you. Thank you that, you know, what I've been putting out there, you've been picking up, and I thank God for that. Whether we agree or we disagree, whether you like that ranking or you don't like that ranking that I have, or you like that pick and you don't like that pick, whatever it may be, thank you for coming to the show. Thank you for supporting me, and thank you for supporting the businesses that we work with. I cannot thank you enough, because it takes a village, and I am proud to work with all of you in building up this world together and building those steps, that stairway back to heaven. So, Great Lakes Honda City Studios, many thanks to Great Lakes Honda City. When I talk about awesome people to work with, they've been with me for over a decade, and they are our exclusive studio partner every broadcast Monday through Friday from 9 a.m. to 11 a.m. Eastern Time, brought to you inside the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, including when we're on the road. 7140 Henry Clay Boulevard in Liverpool, New York. Go out and see them today, Monday through Saturday. They're open for sales and service, and you can get a sneak peek of all their inventory and any awesome opportunities they may have deal-wise on GreatLakesHondaCity.com. Thanks for being with us up and down the East Coast, the Midwest, the West Coast, and all around the globe on YouTube.com and Facebook.com, both /WakeUpCallDT, and on WakeUpCallDT.podbean.com. Of course, many thanks for those of you that are with us also on Amazon Music, Audible, iHeartRadio, iTunes, and Apple Podcasts, Player FM, Podbean, Podchaser.com, Podvine, Spotify, TuneIn, and YouTube. All you got to do is go to any one of those outlets, search Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, or one word, Wake Up Call DT. Make sure you subscribe, make sure you save us, you bookmark us, all that good stuff, so that you never miss a broadcast again. Podbean alone has over 1,900 episodes of Wake Up Call content, so don't miss a moment. Head out there today, and it's all free. Make sure you go out and support our Central and Upstate New York partners. Great Lakes Honda City, money well spent in all these places. Carvel DeWitt, the Wildcat Sports Pub, GG Cards and Brakes, Myers Creek with 2 locations, 33 Rippleton Road in Cuse, as well as in the inside of the Syracuse Inner Harbor area on 720 Van Rensselaer Street. Chick-fil-A Cicero, Game Point Sports Complex, the place for field hockey, floor hockey, basketball, volleyball, cheerleading, having a party, an event. I absolutely love Game Point Sports Complex, and I love that I get to shoot hoops in a place that is so welcoming. Shout out to Brandon Trish, Dawan Coleman, Charles Pride, Lazarus Sims, Brian and Stratton men's and women's basketball in Syracuse that practice there, and to all the people that utilize this facility that Jim Dispenza just gave so much of his heart and time and money and everything too. So shout out to Jim. Thank you for bringing this to our community. You can book time by going to gamepointsports-syr.com. And then, of course, Ma and Pa's, the snack capital of the world. Pizza Man, K-9 Kamp Dog Daycare, Chick-fil-A in DeWitt, K-9 Campground Dog Boarding, Brian's Landing, Avicoli's, and of course, we are the exclusive multimedia marketing partner of your Bryan and Stratton College Bobcats of Syracuse, your Binghamton University Bearcats, and your Onondaga Community College Lasers. Find the Bobcats every single month with student athletes, coaches, and administration. Find the Bearcats every Tuesday at 10 a.m. Eastern Time. And find the Lasers every other Wednesday at 9 a.m. Eastern Time. So the next time you'll hear from them is going to be November 26th, which is the day before Thanksgiving. So we'll have a lot to be thankful for in that broadcast, including being thankful for our partnership with the Lasers. You can go to youtube.com/wakeupcalldt, click subscribe, hit the notification bell, and find our BSC Syracuse playlist for the Bobcats, our Binghamton playlist for the Bearcats, and our OCC playlist for the Lasers. They're also all on wakeupcalldt.com's homepage and underneath the exclusive partners tab. For more information on your Bobcats, go to syracuse.bscbobcats.com. Shout out to the men's and women's team. God bless to you in your fight for a national championship. Many thanks to all of the sports over at Binghamton, and looking forward to all that is to come. Have had a great time covering them for a year plus, and find out more at binghamtonbearcats.com. And of course, for your Lasers, you will find them at onondaga-lasers.com for more information. Loved being with them over the weekend. And I'm leaving the show now from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, and shortly I'll be doing the doubleheader of the Bryan and Stratton Bobcats of Syracuse opening game at home. So it's not their first game of the season, but first home game for women's basketball, first home game for men's basketball. Doubleheader today, Friday, November 14th, 1 p.m. for the women, 3 p.m. for the men's team. They're going to be at Allen Hall on the campus of OCC, so I get to be around OCC and Bryan and Stratton. I'll see you out there today as we support our Bobcats in their doubleheader first home games of the 2025-26 season. And of course, on Wake Up Call with Dan Tortora, many thanks to Carvel DeWitt for the annoying moment of the week. Chick-fil-A Cicero, where I was with Jimmer yesterday, my brother that I love so much. Chick-fil-A Cicero with lead. And of course, top dog of the week, honoring the babies and the ones I got to meet yesterday, the future of our beautiful world by the grace of God, kissed by the Lord himself on the forehead before they came here. Shout out to Millie and shout out to George. George, thank you for my smile. Millie, I look forward to when you're awake next time and I get a little smile from you. Many thanks to Casey Brown of CBA and Joe Sindoni of Liverpool. They will take on each other on opposite sidelines for the Class AA Section 3 Championship for our community in the Dome Saturday, November 15th at 6 p.m. I'll be there. I hope you will. And big time thanks to Jerome Smith, a guy who I love talking with and appreciate him so very much. Syracuse Orange running back alum, 1,000-yard rusher, and the Bucknell Bison inside the Patriot League running backs coach. Love you, Jerome. God bless to you and your family. Thank you for being so good to me. Jerome, Casey, Joe, and everybody. Facebook at Wake Up Call DT, X at Call DT, Instagram at Wake Up Call _DT. In the meantime, I will say to you, as we always say from the Great Lakes Honda City Studios, God bless, say it with me, no stress, and do your absolute best. I love you all. Please be good. Be kind to each other. Be kind to yourselves. And when you disagree with somebody, stay and have the decency, the kindness, the compassion, and the calmness to continue the conversation. This world is only better if we talk it through. I'll talk to you soon. See you later.